What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television on a victory hump. Oh, there it is. We're right there. Hump day. How do we start off this show? As you know them, you love them, you got to have them. As a lot of Bucs fans are disappointed, but I hate to tell you this. The Bucs are keeping Todd Bowles. Three things. You know them, you love them, you got to have them. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, talking about the developments today from One Buck Place. We'll start out with that, as this from TampaBay.com's own Rick Stroud. Todd Bowles says he will return as the Bucs head coach next season. Bowles wasn't sure when asked at his season wrap-up news conference on Monday. He met with the Glazer family, which owns the team, Tuesday, and had interviews scheduled with members of this coaching staff on Wednesday, which is today. When asked if he was officially back as the Bucs head coach for 2026, Bowles confirmed he was in a text message to the Tampa Bay Times' own Rick Stroud. So there you go. That is the official word there right now. Bucs fans, what do you think about it? We'll open up the phone lines. I know some of you are upset at this point because you wanted John Harbaugh or you wanted somebody else. You wanted the Bucs to fire this coach, and they're not going to do it. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We'll also talk some playoff football because the Bucs, of course, are not in the playoffs now. They did beat the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. So I'll tell you what, before we get out to the phone lines, hold up on the phone call really quick. Let's go out to my guy right now, my co-host, Mr. Professional Handicapper Extraordinaire. Let's go out to Harry the Greek. I got to get your thoughts on this, my friend, because you told me off air you had somebody tell you beforehand that this was a done deal. At this point, you're not really surprised by it. I'm really not surprised by it. Again, it was a bad season, lots of injuries. We can say whatever you want to. In fact, before I go out to you and before I go out to this caller, I want fans to hear, and Ed, I know you're calling in. Just stand by. We got.
I just want to know if you can hear me.
I can hear you just fine. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. We got good audio. Audio.
Yeah. You've got good audio, but this is what Todd Bowles had to say on his presser just a couple of days ago about the opportunity to coach this team in 2026.
All I can do is coach and be myself. I've earned the chance. I've won 3 straight division titles, so that says a lot as far as I'm concerned. But I don't really have a message for fans other than true fans are true fans, and we're going to try to do our best to go out there and win for them. You know, they're going to feel how they feel, but that's not the coach's problem. The coach's problem is to make the team better. That's all I'm looking for.
You understand their frustrations about this past season?
I understand their frustrations, and I understand our own frustrations as well. It's well warranted, and well warranted within the building as well.
So there you go. He feels like he's earned the right after 3 division titles. I know people will say that's the worst division in football, but there's other divisions that are not good, but he feels like he's earned the right. The Glazers agree with him today, and I definitely think the concession is going to be, Harry the Greek, that they're going to make wholesale changes, not only to their offensive coordinator, to their defensive staff. It needs to be done. And listen, Bowles has been able to do this. He did this in the past last year when they wanted to hire the Jacksonville coach there to give him an opportunity, for game management situations. He was open to that. He's changed. I know there's a lot of fans out there who don't think he's changed. They don't think it's going to get better. Once again, I tend to be the eternal optimist. Not only do I think there will be more funds, Jason Light will be more aggressive in free agency in the draft, but I think with these coaching changes, whether it's offensive coordinator, whether it's giving up play calling when it comes to the defense or getting defensive coaches, I tend to think that they can put this together. And then on top of it, the Glazers signed him to an extension, a 3-year extension because of the culture. They like the culture. You don't like to hire and fire coaches at the end of the day. And I know, Bucs fans, they love to do that. You love to hire and fire coaches. And you look around the National Football League, Raheem Morris just getting fired. Oh my God, he got fired. The general manager got fired. That is not a stable organization with all the talent they have in that building. It is not a stable organization. It is not an attractive destination. That's just my feelings. Harry, what do you think? Welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
I appreciate it, but I just always like to circle back to the Bucs. I know everybody wanted Todd Bowles to be fired. Not everybody, but a lot of the web heads that are out there, and and even a lot of the pundits were saying they were going to be fired. I knew it. You knew it. They were not firing this man. They're just not doing it because people have a very short memory. He won a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator. And let me be clear, that wasn't Bruce Arians that won that Super Bowl. That was Todd Bowles' defense that won that Super Bowl. Not even Todd Brady's offense. If everybody remembers correctly, they put an ass whooping on Kansas City. Now fast forward. They're supposed to rebuild. But hang on. They won 3 division championships, albeit not the strongest of divisions. Now fast forward to this year. They were 6-2 at one point. Everybody was riding really high. Hold on. The Greek said, this team could easily be a 2-win team at that point after 8 games because they won so many games in the last 2 minutes of the game. So were they that good or were they that bad? No, I think the NFL figured out exactly who they were. It's a copycat league. You couldn't contain anybody to the inside, letting way too many big plays on the outside. The weak spot was the linebacking core. And I'm not trying to get off on too much of a tangent here, but let's be really clear. Todd Bowles was responsible for a lot of things that happened to this team. But unfortunately, the coordinators are going to go down for this one because Todd Bowles deserves at least one more year. But I got a question for you, Buck fans. Seriously. Did you really want John Harbaugh to come here? Do you really want a Mike Tomlin to come here? Now, Mike Tomlin might be very enticing. But do you realize what happens when a super big name coach comes in? You lose your general manager. You lose your quarterback generally. And then you start all over from scratch. Now, for those of you that say, yeah, I would take it because they want to rebuild, you got to be below 30 years old because you sure as hell don't remember the days of being Yuckville. And that's exactly what happened. Think about what happened after they won that first Super Bowl. They fired John Gruden 2 weeks after the season. How many years in purgatory was this team?
11. Yeah.
Yep.
11. I mean, from 2009 on.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be so talkative, but that's the reality.
No, absolutely. Talk as much as you want to. I definitely want to hear from Bucs.
You have got to support the coach that you're in. And I understand we're going to be in the minority. And I know everybody's going to want everybody else. But you know what? Make sure you call in. We want to know who you want. We want to know what you would have done if you were the general manager of this team. But remember, be careful. You're going to get some pushback. Because if it's going to be a top-notch coach, they're bringing a general manager in. So you can say bye-bye to your GM.
Well, and there was a report out there from Benjamin Albright that the Bucs did call John Harbaugh in his camp, but the reason why they didn't hire him is because Harbaugh may have wanted his own general manager. Although Light and Harbaugh did work together in Philadelphia, that is the report. So, Bucs fans, it's time to hear from you. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Trevor. Trevor, patiently waiting here on the evolution here. After the Bucs make a decision, Todd Bowles stays for 2026. Your thoughts? Welcome to the Sports Web.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
I'm doing great, buddy. How you doing?
What's up, Trevor?
Although we didn't make the playoffs, I still celebrated Victory Sunday.
Good.
But anyway, I'm the minority as well. I like the fact that we kept Todd Bowles despite what everybody else thinks.
Right.
I'm with Harry. I mean, you can bring in some people and, they're going to tear the thing down. If you bring in a new coach like a Harbaugh or a Tomlin, guess what? They're going to want their own people to include, like you said, general manager. They want to tear the whole thing down. And I mean, I get it as a head coach. If you're coming into a new organization, you want the people that you know. But I'll say this though. Just like Harry was saying, you can blame Todd Bowles for a lot of things, but you can't blame him for the players that are on that roster, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. Okay, especially with that front seven. I know, Harry, you've been talking about this all year long about, Jason Light has dropped the ball, right? And I agree with
Listen, Jason Light, let me be really clear. I'm not the biggest fan of Jason Light this year, okay?
Yeah.
But he's not a bad general manager. He had a bad year.
No, he's not. I think what it is, Bucs fans don't want to hear this, but after that Super Bowl run, we had a lot of people to pay, and it strapped our resources. So we wasn't able to go out here and get these free agents. We wasn't able to go out here and make these trades and all this stuff.
Correct.
And eventually it caught up to us. Like Peter's saying now, we have a little more resources.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go into the offseason. We clearly know the front seven needs to be fixed on the defensive side of the ball.
Yes.
Correct.
Let's get better players at those positions. Let's get a dominant pass rusher that we need. I don't care how we get it, whether it's free agency or draft, but by all means, we have to get a pass rusher.
Yep.
The OC, I'm sorry. Some may disagree with me, but I think we do need to make a change at the offensive coordinator position.
I agree.
Baker regressed.
And I don't agree. By the way,
offensive line, and then also the fact that he was
Trevor, I want to talk out of both sides of my mouth here, real quick, and I'm only interrupting you for a minute. I agree and I disagree. Yes. Okay. Does the offensive coordinator need to go down? Yeah, because of what happened. Do I think he was the problem? No, absolutely not. Any offensive coordinator that has the weapons that this team has on the offense,
right,
that is committed to running the football, that's a good OC. I'm sorry. It just is. Because he never panicked. He never got away from trying to run the football. Let's call it what it is, man. How many weeks was this team missing its top 3 wideouts? I rest my case. Okay? And if you think this wouldn't have happened to any of the 2 previous OCs, you're highly mistaken with this many injuries, especially on the offensive line. So, again, I challenge anybody that's out there. Tell me who's better. Seriously. Just tell me who's going to be better.
You mean from all coordinators?
Yeah, with the problems that this team has had. Listen, someone has to go down. You start 6-2, and then you get your ass waxed to you for the rest of the season, and you miss the playoffs, even though you've tied everybody. And by a fluke, Atlanta has to turn around, and they're the deciding factor that the Buccaneers, even though they had the tiebreaker against the Carolina Panthers, shouldn't have made it in. But I implore anybody to go ahead and challenge me and explain to me why another offensive coordinator is going to be a better idea. And let's just say next year they have the same problems. Baker Mayfield's playing hurt. You missed 3 offensive linemen. Tristan Wirfs, arguably your best left tackle in football, is not 100%. Doesn't play 4 or 5 games this year. I mean, come on, man. Do I need to keep going? I don't care if Jesus was running that offense. Well, maybe Jesus. I please forgive me, but he'd even have a hard time with it, for Christ's sakes.
Listen,
well, I mean,
listen. You have problems with the offensive line. You had Tristan Wirfs, who's banged up all year long.
I got this. I'll settle it all. Let's bring Byron Leftwich back, since everybody was so astute that he should have been the head coach first.
Well,
break, man.
Well, BA would definitely say that. And listen, I think BA still has some control and some pull in this organization. And a lot of people don't like the fact that, Todd Bowles was handed the job. And we heard that from Dwight Smith, a former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Super Bowl legend, say that a lot of fans didn't like it because BA handed Todd Bowles the job. But the Glazers feel comfortable with him. They feel comfortable with
this team would be in purgatory. Okay, if they would have handed the offensive coordinator the job instead of Todd Bowles, this team would have been in complete purgatory. Please stop, because I'll tell you what, any quarterback would have got their ass cracked, because all he wanted to do was pass the ball. The risk it, no biscuit with this offense is not going to work with that offensive line. It just wouldn't.
Well,
and it's embarrassing and it's insulting for people to even tell me that this team would have been. Byron Leftwich doesn't have a job for a reason.
Right. He definitely doesn't have a job for a reason. You're exactly right. And your offensive line this year and that year no, this isn't purgatory, Balo, whatever, Miss Bella. No, this isn't purgatory. This is a team that suffered a ton of absolute misery and a lot of problems. Yeah. A lot of problems on that offensive line. Yeah. Stand behind your team. Stand behind your team. You can be critical. We're not going to tell you you're wrong. Right. Okay. But be prepared to get some pushback. Yeah.
Okay. Be prepared to get some
Hey,
pushback.
I'm cool with the pushback.
I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Um,
All right.
Here's
Trevor,
what
go
I'll
ahead.
say to the offensive wise with the offensive coordinator.
Yes.
You make some valid points. I mean, when you're injured on the offensive line, two of our guards got hurt, and then
Guards, center, left tackle. Who's
okay, I
counting?
get all that. But here's the one thing I want to bring up, Harry. Why in the hell did Emeka Ibuka regress late in the season?
It's a great
He
point.
was on fire.
And I'm going to tell you why.
And
Because
then
the national
in the middle of-
hang on, why did the Bucs lose so many games at the end of the season? You want to know why Emeka got stoned? Because he couldn't handle the double teams anymore, and the man got tired. You don't use a rookie that much. You can't. They burn out. They don't play that many games in college like they do in the National Football
And
League.
listen, to that point, that's the offensive coordinator's job to find a way to get him the ball. It's the offensive coordinator's job to find him the way. And I think that's
I got tired, man.
Well, that's true. May hit the rookie wall, but still, as an offensive coordinator and offensive play caller, and even I'll say this with Todd Bowles, you got to find a way to adjust. You got to find a way, whether you have the guys or not, you got to find a way to adjust and make it happen. The offensive coordinator wasn't able to do it. And of course, the defensive coordinator, being the head coach, wasn't able to do it. And that's why the Glazers and Jason Leiter, most likely the Glazers, are looking for major changes. They're going to make these major changes.
I got to put this comment up here.
Sure, go for it.
And I'm not even reading it out loud. I just want everybody to read that comment. What the hell does that have to do with what we're talking about?
Is a coach that has been a proponent who's all about giving minority coaches a chance to grow, and the Buccaneers organization is committed itself to allowing coaches to grow. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem
with that at all. We're talking about why the team didn't win this year. That has nothing to do with it.
Right.
Nothing personal. I'm just being honest.
Right. I get that. No, I get that. A lot of people feel like that again, it was just handed to Todd Bowles and that he didn't earn it.
It wasn't the man earned it.
I agree.
Yeah, and here's the thing: if the Glazers didn't want Todd Bowles to have that job, he wouldn't have got the job.
Right. And exactly.
They would have been like, no, he's gone
listen,
too.
Trevor, you wouldn't have signed him to an extension. You wouldn't have signed Jason Light to an extension. Yeah. Again, they have both of their faults. They have to figure it out. They're going to have to figure it out because the pressure is going to be on. And I'm curious to see what happens.
Now,
go ahead.
He's definitely in the hot. I support bringing Todd Bowles back, but don't make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
If they don't go out here and make some drastic changes and the team doesn't improve,
agree.
Then I do think he needs to be gone after next season. Now I do got to talk to Harry though a little bit more because I enjoy debating Harry.
Go ahead.
I love
it. Offensively, we go back to this offense, right? What about Baker throwing all these interceptions towards the end of the season? Now, hear me out before you answer that. You look at that Carolina game last Saturday. He had protection when he threw that interception. He kind of started doing that towards the tail end of the season. And I get it. He's injured, but he's healthy enough to drop back and read a defense. He was kind of regressing from that standpoint with the turnovers. So, again, I know we've had our issues, but sometimes there was plays to be made, and he was just simply not making them. And I don't put that all on Baker. What I'm saying is, even when he had opportunities to make plays, he didn't feel comfortable back there. And I hold the OC to task for that because it's like Baker wasn't comfortable. You can tell there was games when he played in Miami. I'm sorry, he looked lost. You know what I mean? In Miami, it's not a good football team. And offensively, we flat out sucked. And I know Tristan didn't play that game. However, there was drives where the protection was pretty decent and Baker was still out there stinking it up. And so it's games like that for my examples as to why I feel like the OC needs to be gone. And the reason why I feel like that is because I've seen where he's been able to maneuver. The other OCs that we've had, Liam Cohen, Dave Canales, they had their flaws too. But also there's been injuries to the offensive line when they were the coordinators too, and the offense didn't look quite as bad, and also Baker didn't look quite as bad. So
okay,
that's fire.
Can I respond to what you were saying?
Yeah,
you're
Trevor, take the call, man.
Yeah.
Trevor, I want you to go ahead and tune in. I'm going to go ahead and finish this response real quick. You can go to your phone call, Pete, but I want to finish the response to it.
Yeah,
because
thanks,
Trevor does bring up a really, really good point. But Liam Cohen and Grizzard are not throwing the football. I haven't heard once anybody ever talk about the plays getting to Baker Mayfield late. Okay. Okay. He's having plenty of times. Baker Mayfield is throwing the football, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. He's throwing the football. And that interception you're talking about, that's just a bad throw. That's not Grizzard's fault. I mean, how can that be? Okay. But I understand where you're coming from. The bottom line is this: whether or not Grizzard keeps his job, which he's not, okay, because someone's going to have to go down for this pitiful season that they endured in the second half. I'm telling you that he's not as bad of what people are saying. He doesn't think out of the box. Let me tell you something. I'm going to bring it right to the Chicago Bears. Everybody's enamored with Ben Johnson as a head coach. And a lot of people in the Midwest that are watching this show that follow us and they follow my picks, I'm getting ready to lay a bombshell, okay? His coaching is very questionable this entire season. He brought in an offensive game plan for his offense to make it really unstoppable. And you know what? For the most part, they can play with anybody in football. But you want to talk about thinking outside the box? Sometimes you want your coach to be a little bit more conservative. I can count 5 games they should have blew teams out this year, and they didn't because of bonehead decisions, because they're going to go for a 4th down in 2 yards to go in the second quarter, and you're up by 2 scores, and the defense is completely controlling the game, and then you don't make it. And now it becomes a one-possession game.
And the onus is on your defense because your defense has their backs against the wall.
And then there's one particular game in Chicago that they were playing Green Bay, and that was the 49ers. After it was a back and forth game. First time in NFL history, 7-7, 14-14, 21-21, 28-28, 35-35. It's never been done.
Right.
Okay. Back and forth. Neither team could stop anybody. But the last play of the game, the most crucial play of the game, completely has San Francisco on their heels. He didn't get the play in there in time. The great Ben Johnson did not get the play in time. And guess what? He couldn't get the formation going right, and he had to improvise. And he ended up dirting the football. But neither one of them blamed each other. But nobody's blaming the head coach. You know why? Because they're an 11-win team. They're number 2 seed in the NFC. And ladies and gentlemen, they got a really good offense, but I don't give them that much of a chance this year. They may get by the first round, and that's going to be a success. So what's the difference between what he's doing and what Grizzard's doing? Because he's not thinking out of the box. You want him to see him continue to go for it on 4th down? No,
I will say this. You look at third down conversion percentage, it went down. It was top 10 in the league. You look at points scored, it was top 10 in the league. That's what you're looking at. I mean, all that makes a difference. And then on top of it, you talk about all these wide receivers coming back. You're not able to get them the ball. Your offense is not able to score over 23 points a game. I think that's what
Grizzard needs another season. Okay.
Maybe, but I don't think he's going to get that.
Because right now, next year, I'm telling you now, and I'm going to announce this right now, the Bucs are the 3rd best team in this division behind Carolina and Atlanta. Atlanta will, and I'm telling you, they're going to get their head coach. That team is extremely good. If you break this team down without just drafting and acquiring a couple of players, and you keep your coaching staff cohesive,
who's their quarterback?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win the division. If they don't, and you have to learn another offense, and now you're getting other players coming in, this is going to continue to be a problem.
Well, we'll see. We'll definitely see, but I think that's definitely going to happen. I say, with the Atlanta Falcons, with the hype the last couple of years, who's your quarterback? Is Kirk Cousins your quarterback? Is Michael Penix? Michael Penix is already banged up. No telling how long he's going to miss. So we'll see how that works out and what they do. But I will say this, as always, you look at the Atlanta Falcons, all the talent in the world, but they do not have a stable ownership. When you're hiring and firing coaches,
I get it, Pete. But here, let me debate it with you real quick. They got a better defense. It's not even close.
It's not close because they were able to draft. I agree with you on that. But
that defense became good, and you got a running game that 0 defenses can stop right now. Well, I haven't seen a running back like that. He's better than Saquon Barkley.
And that's how you build. That's how you build this Bucs team. You got your offense. Now you got to build up front. Let's go out to Bucs Basement. Bucs Basement, thanks a lot for
being patient. Thanks for being patient. I didn't mean to be so talkative. How you doing, man?
Hello. That's all right, man. Go ahead.
Hey guys.
Yeah. Todd Bowles is back, buddy. What do you think?
Yeah, for one more year, he'll be gone next year, so that's whatever.
Why would you say?
Why root him in the cellar?
Why do you say that?
The defense is not get better. He sucks as a head coach. He's not going to change.
This team can't get better.
You're right. He sucks.
No, I don't, because I think he's still going to coach the same way he always does.
Okay. All right.
It's not going to. It hasn't changed since he got here. His defense has progressively gotten worse every year. The middle of the field has been wide open every year.
Okay,
that's true. This is Looneyville first. And I just want to say, I was so disgusted by what Todd Bowles said about bragging about his stupid division titles. Meaningless. You're bragging about an 8-9 season. Are you joking me? You wouldn't have made the playoffs with an 8-9. You wouldn't have made the playoffs with a 9-8 record.
Well,
hell,
first, hold on. Relax. The first year they were 8-8 with Tom Brady. They rested their starters.
8-9.
Okay, but they rested. Okay, but they rested their starters, so they were 8-8. They could have went 9-8 with Tom Brady. There's a lot of distractions with that. I'll give you that. But again, you go 8-9, 9-8. 10-7, that was improvement, and I get it. This year, it was not great. It was not good. You can't figure it out.
I love the passion from Bucs Basement.
My point is, you can't brag about division titles when you literally can see there's data, there's stats. You can't debate this. We don't make the playoffs in any other division, in the NFC. If we're in any other division besides the NFC South, that 10-7 record does not get us in the playoffs.
No, I agree. And you know what even sucks more than that? There's teams with better records that are going to have to go on the road. Okay. Exactly. I don't agree with that, but you know what?
It doesn't make any sense, but you know what? That's the whole point of the divisions. But don't brag to me about your stupid division titles, because it all it got you was a 1-3 record, and the only team you beat
and the banners look nice. They don't know what the records are.
Begging you to get them out of their misery. That lost 7 of the last 8 games. You want to brag about a 1-3 record in the playoffs? Like, that's just ridiculous.
Okay, and I love his point, Peter. So how do you fix it? All right. So you fire Todd Bowles. How do you fix it? What do you do? I want to know from you.
Oh, by the way, guys, just so you know, Benjamin Albright just did something, and he basically said that the Glazers did call Harbaugh.
We put that out there. We put that out there.
We already talked about that. They did call him. But I'm just curious.
He basically
this
said
is
was
Bucs
like,
Basement, right?
Yeah, but Harbaugh wants his GM, so that's why they're like, oh no, we want Jason Light. Are you guys worried that if this goes south next season, the fans might demand more blood than just Todd Bowles?
I mean, again, at the end of the day,
not at all. But I want to know how you fix this. What would you do this year to make it better?
Let me just put this out there really quick. I'm going to put this out there because I've heard this. I'm going to go full screen because I'm getting sick of hearing. What do you think the fans are going to do? First and foremost, fans saying they're not going to renew their tickets. Guess what? You've already done that. But by the way, there's probably Bucs fans out there that will take your tickets off your hands. Exactly. Also,
and they'll sell them to the opposing fans.
Okay, well, they've already done that anyway. They've already did that anyway.
Do that. This team's still 50-50 when the Bears come to town.
When the Eagles come to town.
I sold my tickets to you guys.
Okay, but when the Eagles come to town, you're overrun by Eagle fans. When other teams come to town, they're overrun. So enough with the nonsense of we're going to sell our tickets. You've already done that. You've already shown that.
You know what the pitiful thing is, and people don't remember?
This stuff would never happen in Chicago. This stuff would never happen in Philadelphia. This stuff would never happen in Pittsburgh. It only happens here in Tampa. So enough with the nonsense of fans are going to do this, fans are going to do that, fans are going to do whatever the hell they want to. And what Todd Bowles said is absolutely correct. The real fans are going to come out and support this team. If you're not going to support this team, then either you don't know their history or you weren't a fan in the first place. Now go ahead.
You know, I got to tell you something. I had to support the Chicago Bear team when they had 47 quarterbacks in 18 years. I just want people to put that hat on. Just think about that. No matter what it was, of course I'm going to support it. But you know, you're right. Fans are going to sell it to the, to the opposing teams. But let's be real. The fan base here in Florida, Bucs Basement,
Bucs fans, because I always wanted Bucs fans to get the experience of the game.
And you know what? I get that. But you know something? Unfortunately, literally 2/3 of the fan base here in Florida are transplants from outside. Like myself. I root for the Buccaneers. You know what I'm saying? I am a Bucs fan. I don't care that I'm wearing a Bears shirt. I was hoping both teams would have been into the playoffs. I would have been happier in a pig and shit. Honestly. I really would have. And that doesn't make me a turncoat. No, it doesn't. No one ever said I had to root for one football team. That has got to stop also, because I'm going to turn over to baseball. Do you know how many markets in the country don't have a baseball team? And some of these cities have two? But yet again, oh, you can't root for the Cubs because you're a Sox fan. Oh, I'm a Cub fan. Forget about the Sox fan. That's some of the most nonsense things I've ever heard of.
You don't even, come on now. You don't even root for the Cubs. Get out of here.
I'm a closet Cub fan, and you know that, but I act like an ass all the time when I say it. But seriously, Bucs Basement, I want to know before we go and we move on to the next caller. How would you have honestly fixed it this year?
How would I have fixed it? Got in John Harbaugh. Or got
okay,
in,
so hold on. So you
offensive minded, because I'm just like,
hold on. He likes Harbaugh. I agree.
Well, let me get this straight. So
Jason Light's going to be gone then.
A coach that could not get it done with a 2-time MVP, possibly 3-time MVP in Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and all the talent there in Baltimore. And also, he was criticized for not necessarily having game plans ready to go. He was criticized for being ultra conservative. Let me get this straight. You want to bring in a coach who couldn't get it done with that level of talent to here in Tampa, and you think it was going to work. Why?
Well, okay. John Harbaugh has a 65% win percentage. Todd Bowles has a 45%.
Facts.
John Harbaugh has a 13-11 playoff. Todd Bowles has a 1-3.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not comparable.
What has he been able to do lately?
He won a Super Bowl.
When?
What was it? 20. He's won a Super Bowl. Todd Bowles has not won a Super Bowl as head coach
ever. He won a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator, shutting down one of the greatest teams offensively of all time, possibly in Super Bowl history.
I understand.
Okay, well that's
that team is dead.
John Harbaugh is an awesome coach, Pete. I'm not taking that away from him.
I think is the last.
What's your point? The Ravens didn't win a Super Bowl with 2012 with Joe Flacco. What's your point?
But no. Hold on. That's not a bad point. John Harbaugh is a damn good coach, but you're going to give up your general manager if John Harbaugh comes.
That's exactly why I wouldn't have wanted to do it.
There you go.
I know that.
Oh, okay. There you go. So who would you bring in?
Listen, and I'm like with you, Harry. I've not liked Jason Light's drafting, particularly in the top rounds on defense. I think he has flopped tremendously on defense in the top rounds. Elijah Cansey was his only hit. He is drafted in the top rounds. He's drafted Joe Tronshoyinka, Chris Braswell,
Tyke
Logan
Smith.
Hall. These are not top round
Tyke
picks.
Smith, Antoine Winfield
Those
Jr.
were luxury picks, by the way.
I'm talking about after the Super Bowl, because after the Super Bowl he did.
He doesn't get credit for those picks that he made in the Super Bowl. He doesn't get credit for Antoine Winfield Jr.
But this is after the Super Bowl that I question.
Okay, then.
I agree with Bucs Basement here. Jason Light deserves some of the blame. Hold up for a second. I'm actually agreeing with you. Okay, we're teaming up on Peter, but the past couple of years he hasn't done shit for this organization as far as trying to bring players in. I'm sorry, he could have done a little bit of a better job, but I honestly think it's not him. They're just not going to spend the money because of the Brady era and the money that they had to spend on Brady and Fournette and Gronkowski and everybody else. Hey, look, man, not all these contracts are dead.
Right.
This money's, they can't whip it out of their ass to say, hey, we're just going to keep putting it on the printing machine.
Also, Jason Light did build that team for Tom Brady to come here. Did everybody forget that?
Absolutely, but
and Vita Vea. Anybody want to talk about him? Great pick.
You forgot about trading for JPP. You forgot about getting Shaq Barrett in free agency. You forgot about drafting Vita Vea.
And you forgot about my favorite Florida quarterback too.
Can we agree that Jason Light needs to stop drafting choir boys and just go for the actual good dogs? Stop drafting choir boys.
I mean, again,
he did. Where did he get Kalijah Cansey's not a dog? That's a great first-round draft pick. Unfortunately, he never. Well, hold on. He didn't have a propensity of not being healthy in college. Okay,
I agree.
That young man was always healthy. He got injured into the pros.
Yaya Diaby's not a dog.
I'm not fond of Yaya Diaby. He's okay.
He's not a first.
I mean, we'll see.
Look, man, this draft in free agency better be nothing but linebackers and corners.
I'm going to tell you right now, you definitely have to make some drastic moves. Bucs Basement, appreciate the call. Use the second one if you want.
He's awesome, man. I love the passion that he showed.
I like him. I don't hate him. I mean, we can debate back and forth.
Listen, ladies, you guys are entitled to have an opinion, okay? Yes. But be prepared for a little bit of pushback, because if you don't like Todd Bowles, Call us and tell us who you want to be the head coach. But be prepared. If it's a big name coach, they're coming with their own GM.
Right. And it doesn't necessarily mean
not everybody's a Ben Johnson. I'm sorry, guys. It just ain't going to happen.
For every Ben Johnson, for every Liam Cohen, for every Mike Vrabel, for the Patriots, it doesn't always work out that way.
No, it doesn't.
I get it. And I think it's more of letting Liam Cohen out of the building and now Jacksonville being up there. That's really stung a lot of people. Let's go out to Abraham. Abraham, welcome to the Evolution. Todd Bowles stays. Your thoughts?
Abraham.
I'm gonna quote the great Greg Allman on X. It is not your job to pick the coach. It's theirs. It's not a popularity contest. They have people they pay well to make those decisions. And if they trust them, and they trust them. If they follow the fans here, they follow every time they're down more than 3 in the first quarter.
Sure.
All right. That's what I want to start with, because I guess a lot of these fans get too emotional. They don't think rational, and they don't understand all points of view. They don't understand the bigger picture.
Sure.
And you can't keep firing coaches. That's not the solution.
No, it's not. It's not a good way. It's the Cleveland Browns. It's the Miami Dolphins. It's the Atlanta Falcons. And I know, and I just think a lot of Bucs fans I'll just use an old Batman line from The Dark Knight. There's no reason why this guy is doing. I think he was talking about the Joker. They just want to watch the world burn. They just want the chaos. They just want to go and get a new coach. They just want to go and get a new general manager. They just want to go and get a new
people. Peter, people are passionate. They want to win.
I understand,
and they see other teams that go from the
stability
in Chicago. Peter, New England and Chicago go from worst to first. Okay?
I agree.
Listen, and people see that, and that's what they want.
Right.
But the bottom line is this: they're passionate, they want to win, and they think another coach is going to do this. And in some cases, it can. But you know why? You know why the Glazers decided to keep Todd Bowles? You really want to know why?
Stability, culture.
Yeah, that and you know what else? People said, "Oh, he's losing the locker room," but he didn't lose the locker room. Did you see Levante Davis' farewell speech almost in the locker room and the way everybody was collaborating together? There's no division there. Those are the reasons why. Yeah. You cannot overcome that many injuries that the Buccaneers had. You just can't.
Yeah,
they're going to right the ship. You're entitled to your opinion. My opinion's the minority. Look, and let me be really clear. I've never been a Todd Bowles fan. Never.
Right.
I was a Todd Bowles fan as a defensive coordinator. When you want to know where I was a fan of his at? When he was with the Cardinals, back with Bruce Arians. And when he got his head coaching position with the Jets, I was a Todd Bowles fan because he develops a culture. Now, can he be a little bit more offensive minded? That's not his job, man. That's not his job. That's Grizzard's job.
I would say for him to stay out of it, and that's what you kind of learned here.
And that's what he has been doing. You want to look what happened to probably arguably the best team in the NFC, the Detroit Lions, who didn't make the playoffs. What the hell did Campbell do about 7 weeks ago? Anybody want to take a stab?
Yeah, he took over.
He basically fired his offensive coordinator, decided that he was going to call the offensive plays. Where are you at, Detroit? How'd that work out for you? You want to talk about a team that's imploding?
Yeah.
That team's imploding.
Yep, that team is imploding. All right, Abraham, appreciate the call, man. Anything else? You got somebody you like to have as an offensive coordinator?
The fan base need to suck it up and trust the ownership and trust the general manager. And I don't put it all on Todd Bowles. I mean, Jason Light, I agree with Harry, because he could have made some better decisions. But, nobody's perfect. We just got to roll with it and move on. And somebody's going to take the fall for that. It's going to be the OC. And hopefully, get a DC, full-time DC, and a special teams. And hopefully we can maintain the same.
Put the other line on hold, Peter.
Hold that for the locker room. So that's all I got to say.
All right. Appreciate you, Abraham. Let me go out to
Ed.
Ed, I think we had Ed. Keep on calling, guys. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We missed some calls here, so I want to go out to this one right here really quick. Ed, stand by. I think this is Curtis. We'll just keep on calling you guys back, or you guys call us back. Try to get
back. Go back to Ed, man.
Curtis, go ahead. Welcome to the Evolution.
Fellas,
yes.
What's going on?
Big decision today. Todd Bowles stays. You surprised by this? Is this the right decision by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in your opinion?
Listen, Harry, I agree with damn near everything you said.
Oh, wow. You're one of the few.
There has definitely been a culture change in Tampa, and I don't know. I mean, going back to what Harry said, you can't overcome injuries. It's hard.
Not that many.
It's very hard. I mean, Detroit.
There were 2 offensive linemen that started in 1 week that were bagging groceries the week before.
How many players was Detroit down last season?
A lot.
Plenty.
The whole damn team.
Yep.
The defense.
You can't win like that, man.
Nope.
When the Bucs won the Super Bowl in 2002, they were healthy.
Yes.
When they won in 2020, they were healthy.
Yeah.
And you lost a piece here, you lost a piece there. I remember we lost Vita Vea in 2020. He came back at the end of the season.
Correct.
Kalijah just came back. And yes, Harry, I agree with you. I love Kalijah. He just ain't been healthy.
Hasn't been able to stay healthy. You see the impact on Sunday. You even heard from Todd Bowles in that press conference of how much energy, how the practice seemed like it had more energy to it. The defensive line had more energy to it.
Here's what I want Bucs fans to understand.
Sure.
Okay. Tom Brady came in and won a Super Bowl. We didn't know what was going to happen after Tom Brady left. Nobody did. We took a chance on Baker, and it worked out. Ask the New Orleans Saints, what have they done since Drew Brees has left?
Nothing.
What have they done?
That's great enough to suck right there.
The Cardinals got rid of Josh Rosen because they put their faith in Kyler Murray. What has Kyler Murray done for Arizona?
I think he played his last down this year for the Arizona Cardinals. He's done.
Of course.
That team will be in purgatory for the next 4 or 5 years. They're going to draft a quarterback. Watch what happens.
They just fired their coach. They just hired.
The Cowboys had a great offense.
Yeah.
Where are they at right now?
How great was that offense? Every time they got around a really good defense, what happened?
They got punched in the mouth.
Just smacked around. That defense is Swiss cheese too.
Yep.
Exactly. And like Harry said, you look at the Patriots, you look at the Bears, they went from first to worst. But guess what? These teams are out there playing their asses off. And guess what? The boys that was on this Bucs team, they were out there playing, but it's still hard when you are rotating in new players who don't even know the system.
Well, some guys, and I will get out to some of these comments from Yaya Diaby and, of course, Jamel Dean in care of Pewter Report, which I thought were damning, to say the least, especially with Yaya and, of course, Jamel Dean, although I think it's funny with him saying anything about being out of position. We'll get to those comments in just a moment, but you're exactly right. Players on this team were buying in just to and you could see it. And when you spend $14 million on Hassan Reddick and he has 1.5 sacks, that's stealing money. That's not going to.
It's a joke.
It is a joke.
And I'm going to tell you this. I kind of felt like we wasn't going to make the playoffs because of just how the season was rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd Bowles, when he showed me his emotions, I was like, well, he'll be here for at least another year.
Right.
He'll be here for because he was so out of character. But he showed you how passionate he was.
I got to be honest.
His players, and those guys, they go out there and play for that man.
When he did act out like that and he was dropping F-bombs, I told Peter that's generally a coach that's trying to reel his team back in, and one or two things are going to happen. A, they're going to go on a winning streak, or B, he's going to get fired. That's usually the end of a tenure of a coach. And unfortunately, the Glazers didn't see it that way. They just seen a lot of passion, and his team did stick behind him. A lot of players turn around, and there's someone out there that just left a comment, but last year they had a lot of injuries and they won 10 games. You would have won 10 games this year. I'm going to give you 2 of them they should have won, but they didn't. You ready? The New Orleans game here in Tampa without, the rainstorm, they should have won.
Of course.
And who thought that they were going to lose that game the way they did up in Carolina? I could also tell you about a couple of games from last year that they shouldn't have won to make them an 8-win team. Sorry.
How about the Atlanta Falcons? You're up by 14 and you can't stop them on 3rd and 28 and 4th and 14.
Yeah, that's Grizzard's fault. He's in charge of the defense too.
Well, but listen, hold on. If your offense does a better job and Baker doesn't throw that interception, and you get some points out of that is on the offensive coordinator, and it is on the offense. And listen,
I don't hear a lot of people jumping on Baker being, not that good. Let me tell you something. Baker sucked in the second half of the season. He didn't look good at all.
And
he's hurt.
Right.
And that's fine. But you also got to remember, Baker carried the team the first half of the season.
He did carry.
That's right, Zach.
I definitely and that's Curtis. That's not Zach.
No, Zach. I just need a comment. I agree with Zach what he just said.
But it's just like and Harry, another thing I agree with.
Yes.
I think the offensive coordinator deserves another year.
He does.
How many Peter, I understand. I already know what you're going to say.
You can't keep changing coordinators like you're changing underwear. You need to get a D coordinator, and you need to get some defensive players. Let's be clear.
I think it definitely
that the problem's not on the offense as much as it is on the defense.
Appreciate the call.
Yep.
Hey man, Curtis, be good, man. Thanks for calling in. Who's up next?
Welcome to the Sports Web. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Peter Blake, what's up, man? This is Nissan, bro. How you doing?
What's going on?
What's up, Nissan?
Nissan of 813 there on Facebook, Facebook page, man. Appreciate you as always. Thanks a lot for making me
awesome
here. Yeah, he is neat. Nissan is definitely awesome. Came out and supported us there at Tampa Joe's, which
I
we
remember.
Hey,
man, what I want to know from Nissan is when you taking us out on that boat, bro?
Man, listen. My brother, that's my brother's boat.
That's okay. We're your brothers too.
He told me, he was like, if I ever get my boater license and stuff, I could take it out whenever. So I guess I'm gonna have to figure that out, right?
Mm-hmm. You're gonna have to figure that out. I got the greenbacks. You got the boat. We're gonna go have a good time.
Well, and I'm not much of a boat person, so I may have to take some Dramamine or maybe skip the trip. I like to come and hang out with you guys, but I haven't been on a boat in a long time.
Pete say he can't drink that much water. That's what the old folks say.
that's man. I got vertigo, but maybe I'll try to join you guys.
You got more than vertigo.
You shut up and be quiet. You got this.
That's great enough to suck right there.
How about that?
Oh, give me a break.
But I tell y'all what, though, man. I mean, if they were to move on from Todd Bowles, I would have liked to had to try Todd Monken out, man, if he was available. You know what I mean? But as far as this past season goes, man, you know how I feel about it, Pete. Like accountability, like players. When you got 4 or 5 of our players around the ball and one of theirs and they get the ball, you can't blame Todd Bowles for the players not having a set of balls.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And then Baker, yeah, he did stink it up the second half of the season. At the end of the day, like,
you're being nice when you say it that way.
It has to be on Grizzard or whatever his name is as well,
Gizzard.
Because you take
Grizzard. You can call him Gizzard. It don't make a difference.
Shut up and be quiet, Harry.
You get fourth down multiple times and you run the ball straight at our weakest point on the line every time.
Yes.
And expect them not to expose it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then we got Devin Culp, and I know, a lot of y'all, probably don't play Madden. On Madden, Devin Culp is a top 5 speed tight end with a 91 speed, which means in real life he has to be fast as hell, right?
He can't block. I mean, that's the problem.
But you got to get him in there and create something with him. You know what I mean? If you got a player use him.
Well, then listen, that's on the
I mean?
offensive coordinator. I mean, that's what it goes back to. A lot of people, and this is the reason why I love Josh Grizzard as a third down coordinator, because, we had Liam Cohen's offensive coordinator. He's never called plays before. I understand maybe giving him another year, but I say, I don't know if you're going to take that chance. You got to get somebody in here that knows how to call plays. Maybe he's young, but somebody who's called plays. I throw it out there. Maybe a Cliff Kingsbury, even though he just got fired from Washington. He's familiar with Baker. That's right. And then on top of it, he has experience with Baker. And maybe that's a coach right there that he's your future heir apparent to Todd Bowles if Todd Bowles decides to retire or it doesn't work out for him. I mean, that's where you're looking at this point. But, listen, the pressure is going to be on this coaching staff. The pressure is going to be on, of course, Jason Light. And, of course, the Glazers are the ones that are applying the pressure, if you will. Nissan, anything else?
Yeah. One other thing, man, we got to replace Levante David. I really don't feel like he's coming back. I don't see it happening. Like that wave leaving the field, dude, that was it.
Yeah,
I'm sick as the dog because I love Levante. He's like right now is my favorite defensive Buck of all time.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So we're gonna have to find a way to replace him, and that's tough. So we'll see.
Well, you're gonna need definitely 2 linebackers. That's a weak spot, and you're gonna definitely need some edge, and you're gonna have to focus on defense. And I think the Bucs are gonna be very aggressive. Jason Light will be very aggressive, and the Glazers are gonna open up those pocketbooks. You're gonna have to open it up that bench.
Did you say open up the pocketbooks?
I said open up the pocketbooks.
That's fire.
That's it.
Do something.
Exactly. All right, Nissan. Appreciate the call as always. Use that second one if you want to, my friend. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Be easy to you, man. Good stuff. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I'm going to get to all these calls. If you called in, call back in. Let's go out.
Oh, man, let them call back. I hate calling people.
Well, we're going to go out to Ed here. Hold on.
Oh, Ed? Ed's my buddy. Bring him on.
All night.
I'll go. It's been busy, my friend. Go ahead. What's your thoughts on this decision by the Bucs to keep Todd Bowles for 2026?
It's not surprising. They just signed a guy to a big deal.
3-year deal. 3-year extension. Excuse me.
Hold
Go
on.
ahead. Yeah.
Hold on. Let's hit Ed with the
I gotta
gong.
turn off your thing here. Your stream was going at the same time I was trying to talk to you. But anyways, yeah, they just signed him. I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. They just signed him to a big deal, which was probably a mistake on their part. But you never know in this league, you know. They might have won the Super Bowl this year. We all thought they were, especially in the first half of the season. So,
Okay, so how did you come up with that information? Because they won all those games in the last minute.
What they should do is gut that coaching staff. Like get rid of the OC, get rid of definitely get rid of that. Whoever that damn special teams coordinator is, he needs to go like right now.
Yes, agree.
Honestly,
agree.
And get an offensive coordinator that's familiar with Baker. You know, they all want to shoot Baker in the back now, but Baker had like an offensive coordinator, a new offensive coordinator every year of his career, man.
Yeah.
No continuity.
None. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So that's really hard.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and I'm telling you, this guy is a great talent. I don't care what your boy over there next to you says. Baker's a great talent. He is.
I didn't say Baker wasn't a great talent. He's hurt and he sucked in the second half. I'm going to call it like it is. He absolutely sucked in the second half.
People on that team sucked in the second half, obviously, or we wouldn't be talking.
But let's fire Todd Bowles because Baker Mayfield can't find Mike Evans wide open in the flat. Let's fire Todd Bowles and the offensive coordinator because Baker's dirting the ball everywhere. How about we sit Baker down and not let him play hurt? How about that one?
Well, you can't. Teddy Bridgewater's not the answer, obviously.
Well, no kidding.
I guess they had no faith in Teddy.
Obviously, they did.
How can you have faith in Teddy? Did you see the guy out there? He looked older than you, Ed.
Well, he hasn't played in the NFL in a couple years. So, of course, he's going to look a little bit older. And then when you have a turnstile for an offensive line not protecting him, he's not going to look good against that Rams.
Yeah, Teddy's coming in to run back up to me real quick.
Shut up and be quiet.
The suck right there.
You're really full of nonsense tonight, Harry. I know. All right, Ed, appreciate the call. We got to run, my friend. All right.
Thank you, Ed.
All right, appreciate it. Yeah, we're not going to call anybody back. Keep on calling 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391.
I love those commercials, by the way.
Airport
Pete,
rides. Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. Gabby's airport rides here. Special shout out to her.
What about my girl, Gabby?
She says, and I've driven for her before, so thank you very much. Hopefully, maybe we get together this weekend and I drive for you again.
Gabby's my girl. You want to ride? You want to work? I'll get you to work anytime you want.
I'll take his place, Harry. That's what she says. So she's looking to replace me.
Well, I can't blame her. Gabby.
Shut up and be quiet again.
The suck right there.
Nobody's replacing me. Go away.
Well,
all right.
It might have to happen.
Yeah, have to happen. Let's go ahead and replace you, Harry. Go ahead. Go out to the
Please.
phone. What's your name?
Anybody want to come in and relieve me? Let's go.
Oh, geez.
I am so tired of hearing about let's fire everybody.
Well, yeah, absolutely. All right. What's your name? Where are you calling from here on the sports web?
Yeah, this is Frank from Tampa. I got a question for you guys.
Go for
What's
it.
up,
I
Frank?
bring a coach back that's a lame duck coach. You know, if he doesn't do what he needs to do this year, he's gone. I mean, why bring him back?
Because you still have faith that he can turn it around, because you've seen it in the past. You've seen this team play for him when their backs are against the wall. if you can get this team healthy, if you can add to this team in free agency and be more aggressive when it comes to the draft, especially free agency. Trey Hendrickson, I'm talking to you. Max Crosby, I'm talking to you. If you got to give up a couple first-round picks in order to get a Max Crosby, that's what you do. If you have to give up $30 million to get a Trey Hendrickson, guess what? Restructure some deals. That's what you got to do. You need edge players on this team.
You need linebackers and
you need a linebacker to draft.
Forget about giving up all these draft picks because you need too much help on the defense. All right, caller, that's great. I appreciate the opinion. What would you have done?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, but Todd Bowles has got a history of the teams dropping off in the middle of the season. I mean, look at what he did with the Jets.
Fair point.
I mean, a bunch of 4 wins. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, that team that they had injuries or no injuries was at least a 10-win team. I mean, it should have won the division.
How?
I mean, at the end of the day, the team definitely dropped off, and he refused to make in-game adjustments. Look at the Saints game. Look at the Atlanta game.
Yeah.
He did make adjustments. That is on the coach. Now there's a lot of blame to go around. Brett Baker played bad. A lot of injuries. The offensive line was bad. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happened. But Todd Bowles
That's a good opinion.
He refused to adjust. And he
how do you no seriously? How do you adjust? You're going to pass more.
Coach would have got one more win out of this team.
All right, so let me ask you a question. You say he should have adjusted more. You want him to pass the ball more when in 2 weeks they were playing a center and 2 guards that were third string?
No,
they had to run the football.
When everybody from Tampa could see the same thing we're seeing on the TV, he refused to adjust over the middle when the Saints kept dropping the ball over the middle every time. I mean, look what they did in Miami. The guy kept just throwing to the running back. I mean, can you not see that you make those adjustments, you slow a team down, you win one game, you're in the playoffs, and at least you have some hope outside of what's happened this year?
I have got no problems with what you're saying. That's a personnel issue. And this team for the final 8 weeks couldn't stop and contain anybody to the inside. You're right. You can throw it to the running back. And I don't care what you did. They went to man coverage. They couldn't cover anybody. They went to a 2-deep zone. They couldn't cover anybody. They tried shell protection in nickel and dime. They couldn't stop anybody. That's not a coaching issue.
But Harry, you saw the games like we saw the games. He ran blitzes at the wrong times, which is what he's known to do. And at the end of the day, I mean, his calls definitely cost us yardage, scores, and preventing defense. He made some calls that definitely changed some games for us. At least one game, so we go out there and at least play. We're playing tomorrow, playing Saturday. And at the end of the day, I think if you look at his history, you look at what the Glazers did this year. They literally hired a guy to help him manage the clock. They don't have full trust in him.
Well, that may be true, but he's
no. If they didn't have full trust with him, right now he'd be riding the pine out there with about 7 other coaches. So, great point. Glad you called in.
I don't think we have a better option. That's the reason why he's still here. He's a lame duck coach.
So you don't think there's a better coach out there right now that's been released that would fit, in your eyes, better than Todd Bowles? And if it is, who is it?
I don't think they believe there's a coach that's worth the change, like you guys mentioned earlier with the GM and everything. I think they wanted a coach, if they're going to make a change, that's going to fit what they got minus Bowles, and I don't think there's someone out there that fits that, and that's what they believe. So they're going to give it another year. So that's why they made the decision. Hopefully,
so what's going to happen in 2026?
Into that coach's role.
Hold on, it's a foregone conclusion. Todd Bowles ain't going anywhere. What do you think this team's going to do in 2026?
My point is the reason why he's still here is because there's really no one they feel like it's a fit for what they have, other than someone that would come in and wipe out everything, including the GM.
Fair point. It's a fair point. All right, so you think they could turn this around? Do you have confidence they can turn this around, or are you one of these doom and gloom Buccaneer fans that's not going to show up, it's going to cancel your season tickets? Do you think they could turn it around?
He never said that. I'm just kind of curious. Where do you think the team's going to be?
No, I am a little disappointed because Glazers usually do listen a lot to the fans based on this type of cry. You know, this outcry. Usually they listen and they get rid of the coaches when they go this bad. But this year they didn't. At the end of the day, I think we're getting more of the same. That's all we're getting, really. More of the same. Another year, we might make the wild card or we might win the division, but more of the same.
All right, my friend.
I'll tell you this much. If they don't have a draft with this coach, without this coach, with Jesus as the GM, they ain't going to finish third in this division next year. And I don't care who's coaching this team. They have got to address this defense. And it's not with one pass rusher. You better address that entire defense, and especially in the secondary and the linebacker call.
Yeah, I don't
hey, man,
think
that was a great call. I appreciate you calling in.
Frank, I appreciate the call. Use the second one if you want to, my friend. All right.
I appreciate it.
I think it's a new call, man. I think it's a new caller. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We have some confirmation. She doesn't want to replace me on the show. She wants to replace me for the boat ride, which you can, because again, I'm just not a boat person. People go, well, why are you from Florida?
Let me tell you something. Gabby loves going on a boat. Gabby, girl, you can come on the boat with us.
All right, let's go out to Brightside Broadway. Brightside, Bowles is staying. What do you say? Welcome to the Evolution.
I say trust the Glaciers and trust
what
their decision.
Trust the decision. Trust the Glazers. Okay. All right. What else, buddy?
Hey, to all the negatives out there,
Yeah.
you've got two choices. You can either stay on the ship or walk the plank.
Walk the plank, he says. You stay on the ship or walk the plank. So you think they'll turn this around, Brightside, right?
Yes.
That's hence the reason for Brightside. That's a great call, Brightside. Thanks for calling in.
Appreciate you, Scotty. All right, buddy?
Thank you.
All right, let's go out to this guy right here.
Damn it, Jim. What the hell is the matter with you?
Let's go out to Jim. Jim from Ohio. Welcome to the Evolution. Bowles stays.
What's up, Jim?
I was always a Bowles fan, so do you think you need to get a defensive coordinator?
I think there's going to be definitely some consideration or some concession, if you will, to replace some defensive coaches on this staff that are not very good. I get it. They know Todd Bowles and the system and everything like that. He's coached with them before, but maybe that's not necessarily the best thing. Maybe you need different ideas. Maybe you need young.
I heard who they're going to get rid of, Peter. I don't know if you knew this or not.
Who are they going to get rid of?
The scoreboard keeper, the Gatorade guy,
Yes.
and last but not least, Peter.
Yes.
The guy that does the laundry.
That's good enough to suck right there.
Go ahead, Jim. Thanks a lot for nothing right there, Harry. Go ahead.
I'm always bringing the good stuff.
Yeah, bring all kinds of nonsense like always.
So we should draft straight defense.
Straight defense. That's it. No, nothing but defense. What's the biggest need, Jim? What's the biggest need for in your opinion? Is it edge rusher or is it linebacker, or are they both?
Linebacker.
Yeah, I say both.
Okay.
We need some backs too, to be honest.
Well, Rashad White it looks like he's saying goodbye to the Bucs. By the way, not a major loss for me. I mean, I like White, but him putting out Rashad White. He put on his Instagram. He's gone.
I honestly think he played his last down, and it's a shame because I don't think they really used him right. I don't think any one of the last three coordinators. Yes, the two great, the two prior, the great.
That's
ones.
on the offensive coordinator, by the way.
Yes, I know.
Hey, do you think we need to get a defensive coordinator to help Bowles?
Yes, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. I definitely think it's in the plans at this point. Different defensive coaches and definitely a special teams coach at the end of the day, because the special teams was god awful.
I told you earlier today I was not going to go a whole hour just talking about Bucs.
Yeah.
Bucs,
well, here's what we're going to do.
Bucs.
Listen, here's what we're going to do.
Hypothecating.
We made an executive decision because we missed Monday. We did this on purpose. We are going to have a show on Saturday, right before the playoffs.
Possibly. You got me for 4 more minutes. Mrs. Greek is looking at me like I got 2 heads and wants me to get off of here.
Well, happy wife, happy life. So we got to make that
happy
happen.
Wife, happy life.
Jim, final thoughts here, man. Go ahead and give it to me and call back if you want to for a second call.
Don't hit me.
All right. I think we should retool the defense.
Okay.
Maybe get a defensive coordinator up the Bowles.
Okay.
And if we need anything on offense, get it out the free agency. So that's what I think.
All right,
That's
Jim. Appreciate the call, man. As
Good
always.
call, Jim.
All right, Harry. Final thoughts. We will be back here in a couple days. If you want to join me, I know you got some playoff picks you want to give out. We can do that. We can apothecate your big time word there. We can also talk about what the Bucs are doing, because I think in the next couple of days here, in the next 48 hours, there's going to be some moves made that's going to excite a lot of Bucs fans at the end of the day.
Sure. I'm sure it's going to excite a lot of fans. You know what, Peter? It's always getting on here, and I always have a great time. As I always tell people, hey, look, it just didn't roll your punches. I mean, there was a couple of plays here and there. This is the reason why the Buccaneers aren't in the playoffs, but at least my Chicago Bears are. But I would have liked to have had 2 teams in there. Yeah, tune in. I'll be back on Saturday, God willing. Everything's going to be correct. We're going to go out and give out some picks. Maybe we can go ahead and make some money this weekend. Tell you what, I did not have a good week this past week. It was quite crappy, but I will give you a little insight. The line keeps moving all over the place on a couple of these games. And if it really comes down to the correct line, it could be the pick of the year.
All right, my friend, Harry the Greek, professional handicapper.
Let's see who's on the phone first. I'm sure someone wants to torture me before I go.
Let's go out to Frankie. Frankie, Bowles is staying. Your thoughts. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek. Go.
Frankie?
Oh, who is this?
Bears.
Bear. Oh, hey, I'm glad I stayed on. What's up, Banner? How you doing, brother?
I thought it was Frankie. I'm sorry.
I finally got through. Let's let you guys are done with your talking Tampa Bay, right?
No. We're still talking everything. But if you want to talk a little bit, you want to talk playoffs, I'm right here for you, brother.
Looking at the 14 teasers over there, trying to see what Harry likes.
Well, you have to wait till Saturday.
No, I could talk. Listen, that's Banner. This guy tips in a week what we make.
No. I'm broken and broke.
You are so full of crap. You know that. Hey, man, we want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Are you up north or are you down here now?
I am in up north.
What was it? West.
Okay, you are up north. How's the weather up there? And what is the weather supposed to be this weekend for that nice Green Bay Chicago game?
It's going to be good. It's going to be mid-30s down there.
Oh, it's going to be. Is it going to be any snow, precipitation, wind? Is it going to be bear weather? What is it?
It's going to be easy, but I wouldn't touch that game with your money, with nobody's money.
Why are you so scared?
You don't know what NFL team, what Bears team is going to show up.
Okay, but offensively, I think they're going to be fine. You don't believe? I mean, they should have beat them already twice this year. So, what's making you so apprehensive of this game? Why wouldn't you bet it?
They had less than 1% chance the last game to win.
I understand that, but they did that 6 or 7 times this year, and the Bucs started the season 6-2 with the same type of predicaments. Why couldn't they do it in the playoffs? And they're a better offense than Green Bay. Give me another reason other than what you're saying about the 1% chance. Why couldn't they beat Green Bay in this game?
I'm not a Ben Johnson fan one bit.
Amen. Hey, Peter, bring us back to a 2-screen. There's a reason why. Yep. You remember when I was telling you about some of the bonehead decisions he's been making?
Yep.
It's that. And I'll bet you, and I haven't talked to Banner about this. Banner, you're upset because of the fact that people say, you got to think out of the box. How many times are you going to go for it on 4th down in your own area in the second quarter and you're dominating the game and you don't get it? And then you let the other team come back in. Is that what you're inferring to why you don't like Ben Johnson, or is it something else?
Well, second half of the first game of the year versus Minnesota, that was his fault. They lost.
I understand. They'd be a 12-win team.
They could be. And they also could be a 5-win team.
You're correct because of all the games that they won in the final 2 minutes. But you got to give credit to who? You have to give credit to Caleb Williams and that offense.
You don't know what Caleb's going to show up. He's got all the skills thanks to Luther Burden.
Okay. That's a good. That you're entitled to it. So before we go and we move on, I got a question for you. You ready?
I'm ready.
Who wins and what's the score? And remember, there are a lot of people in Chicago listening to this.
Honestly, I don't know. I would not bet on the Bears.
Wow. Okay. Oh, the total's 40. The total's 45. The total's 45 points. Over or under?
Wait, under.
Really?
Under.
If this game goes under, you're right. Bears lose the game.
It's over. The wife even says it. Miss Greek in the background.
Even Miss Greek just turned around and said, "Banner, you crazy?"
Yeah, this game is going over, and that defense of Green Bay is not that good without Michael Parsons.
With this teaser, the under is 58.5 with a 4-teamer. The over is 32.5.
You know what? You and I have really got to talk because there's an 800 number I need you to dial. You're playing teasers. What did I tell you about that?
The Rams are plus 2.5.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Hold on. Time out. I know it sounds good. I'm glad we really switched gears here. I have a question for you, Banner. What happened 5 weeks ago when the Rams went to Carolina?
I don't know. Oh no, yeah, they freaking
Carolina beat them. Carolina matches up really well with them. Now, do I think Carolina's going to beat them again? No. But would it surprise me? No. So that's why I don't like teasers. Man, you got to pick 4 games correctly. Holy cow. And then you got to lay juice if one of them lose, and you don't even win a tiebreaker.
There's no juice on this. It just lets out. I think it's 4 to 5.
Yeah, but you got to lay juice, and you lose the tiebreakers.
You just tell Jamie over there to slap you upside your head.
You want Jamie to slap me upside my head?
She probably.
Jamie says no soup for you. Hey man, thanks a lot. Give us the call. Oh my God! And Jamie just hit me backside of the head. Damn it, Jamie! Why did you do that? Because Banner said so.
All right, Banner. Appreciate the call. All right.
Go Bears.
Hey, one last thing for you. Go do a jig in the middle of the road, would you?
All right. Harry, appreciate it. As always, go ahead and give me some final thoughts as we'll be back on Saturday.
You don't have to make me single screen. Thanks a lot for having me on. Everybody in Tampa Bay, please slow your roll. We'll see you Saturday. We're going to give you a whole bunch of great picks. It's not the end of the world. You're a football fan, number one, and you're a Buck fan because the playoffs are coming this weekend. There's a lot. Let me tell you something. It's the greatest time of the year come playoff football with or without the Buccaneers in there. It would be better for Tampa Bay if they were in there, but they're not, unfortunately. And go Bears.
All right. Good stuff there. Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire. We'll see you on Saturday here on The Evolution. All right.
Si, senor.
All right. Good stuff there. Let me go back out to this one shot. Stand by. Turn down your phone there, caller. Abraham. There we go. All right. It's just me and you now. Abraham, using your second call. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah. So I didn't, you know what? I was so into defending the Glazers' decision to keep the coach.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot about your question about who I would like as an OC.
Go for it.
My thing is Baker succeeded under Sean McVay when he left the Panthers, okay, who really did him dirty, and he really looked good, and he had a resurgence in LA under that offense that Sean McVay had.
You mean Baker Mayfield?
And
yes.
That's why I really am big on him getting them hiring one of Sean McVay's assistants, more specifically Nathan Shieldhouse. Why I say Shieldhouse? His resume looks a lot similar to Liam Cohen's. He came with the collegiate ranks. He was a college quarterback in Illinois. He started as an assistant. He moved up the ranks in Illinois. He coached under I forgot the name of the coach at Iowa State. Now I think he got the job at Penn State.
Matt Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell. Under Campbell, he learned from Campbell.
Yeah.
He was a run game coordinator. He was a wide receiver coach. He developed top-notch running backs receiver, and he was the offensive coordinator one year. And that year, they made big jump in their overall offensive production as far as points per game. And also, they were physical. Okay, Breece Hall, he coached Montgomery from the Lions, Breece Hall for the Jets, Jaden Higgins, I forgot that, Noel.
Jalen Noel, yeah.
Top-notch receiver. So he worked with all the position groups on the offense. And last 2 years he's been under McVay. He did what Liam Cohen did last year, because McVay needs somebody to study his plays, chalk it up, then explain it back to the players, and he did that last year. This year he got a little bit of promotion as a pass game coordinator. So I like it, and he gets the best out of all who's ever he coached. And I think Baker needs a little quarterback whisperer like him to help him. I think a lot of it's psychological in these players, and you need somebody like that to get the best out, maximize the potential. He has good rapport and relationship with all the players he coached. So I just think he's the perfect fit with Tampa. I know you like Clint Kingsbury, but it's been years. Kingsbury actually coached him at Texas Tech and also coached Mahomes at Texas Tech. And if I'm not mistaken, he also coached Kyler Murray. But I prefer Shieldhouse because he's an up-and-coming coach, somebody who the Glazers don't have to pay a lot of money to hire. As an OC. Plus, if Todd Bowles decides, because Todd Bowles was a former personnel executive with the Green Bay Packers, if you study his resume. So they might move him to the front office and let him help in like getting personnel for the team. And Tom, that way Tom can finish his contract with the Bucs, and they can move a really bright young mind like McVay as the offensive-minded head coach. And
I definitely like Schillhouse. I like him a lot. I like his resume. He is definitely a young, up-and-coming coach that maybe definitely will bring energy to this offense. We'll see what they do. Todd Monken's out there also. I mean, you would think he's going to go with John Harbaugh. He has some experience with Baker Mayfield, not necessarily the best with Baker Mayfield, but he's out there available. You would think he's going to go with John Harbaugh. So we'll see what they do, but I definitely think there's going to be some moves here in the next couple of days, and we got you covered here on the Sports Web. What else?
So one more thing about those, like John Harbaugh. I talked to a Ravens fan, like somebody I used to work with, and I just saw him today. So he just said, we fans are tired of Harbaugh. I mean, he just gave up too many leads for us. He couldn't win with Lamar. Okay. So I don't think getting a new coach like him, because he'll have too many demands, and you don't need to. They already built a good culture with Light and the Glazers. You don't need somebody to disrupt everything they did just to accommodate his wants and needs. You gotta find somebody who's going to fit the culture and grow with it. So I just don't think hiring John Harbaugh is a solution. So that's all I got. That's my 2 cents. That's it.
All right, man. Appreciate the call as always. All right.
All right, no problem.
All right, good stuff there, Abraham. Let me go out to the phone lines here. What's your name? Where you're calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Hey, Peter, Frank again with Tampa.
What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Peter, question for you. Why do you think it is that the Glazers didn't put out a statement and kind of squash all this doubt about Todd Bowles?
That's a great point. That's a great question. I don't know. Maybe it's not necessarily official, but again, this report that comes from Rick Stroud at Tampa Bay Times is from Todd Bowles himself. So I just think, again, they put this out there. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to come out with anything official. You just assume they're not making a move at this point, and now you're starting to interview coaches. So I think it's a great question, but I think I don't know if they're going to put out anything at this point. I just think everybody will just know that Todd Bowles is going to be the coach because of this report that came out today from the Tampa Bay Times. If that answers your question, I don't know.
And they got to be aware of the outcry. I mean, they're pretty good at knowing the pulse of the fans. So they got to know if they put out a statement that squashes all doubt, even after today's reports. But they haven't done that, and I think that speaks to something. Even if they keep Bowles, it speaks to the confidence level, which doesn't seem like a lot. That it speaks to there's still a chance, a possibility if they find the right guy, they might replace him.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think they're going to go with Todd Bowles because they signed him to an extension. If they were going to do something, they would have did it already. Although this team is, again, the ownership, they don't necessarily fire somebody. They fire somebody after the season. They wait a little bit. We haven't seen any major moves at this point, so I just don't expect it. I know there's an outcry about it, but I'll just say this. You've been a Bucs fan for a long time. When they fired Gruden, they went with Raheem Morris. How good did that team do after that when they did that to Gruden?
Yeah, exactly.
I
agree with that.
How good did it do after when they fired Raheem Morris when he went on his tailspin from 4-2 to 4-12?
Right.
How good
So you think this is a decision that, hey, they just don't really have someone they feel is a good replacement this year?
I don't think they want to repeat the same mistakes. I understand where the fans are on this and their concerns, but I think the Glazers have learned from their mistakes. You either want to be a good franchise, a great franchise, which means you have stability and you believe in your coaches, and you don't hire and fire coaches every 2 to 3 years. When you're hiring and firing coaches every 2 to 3 years and you're repeating the same thing over and over again, it shows how bad you are. So I don't think the Glazers wanted to do that unless they feel like this is not going to work. And listen, if Todd Bowles would have walked in there, like we heard with John Gruden, and them, suggesting him to do this and do that, and Gruden saying basically, F you, I'm not going to do any of this, then he was fired properly 45 minutes after that meeting. It's not going to happen with Todd Bowles because Todd Bowles, they asked him last year to get a game management coach. He did it. If they're asking him to get an offensive consultant or a new offensive coordinator, he's going to do it. If they're asking him to get a defensive consultant, he's going to do that. They did the same thing with Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith told them to go pound sand, and he was fired. So Todd Bowles wants to keep his job. He's going to adapt to the Glazers. The Glazers are going to get what they want. They're going to give this another whirl here. And
now,
also,
Lovie Smith, I remember it different. I thought Lovie Smith was axed because Lynch didn't, John, the GM, didn't want
Jason Light
Cutter to leave. Jason Light didn't want Cutter to leave, and he thought he was a better potential coach.
Well, the talk was that they brought him in the offseason, and I believe this is from my good friend, Mr. J.P. Peterson, who reported on this, who, of course, we collaborate with on the Sports Web, does great reporting, has covered the Bucs for over 30 years. Yeah, I love that guy, and we've had him on the show before. From what I heard from him is that they brought Lovie Smith in there in the offseason, and they suggested for him to change up his defense, change his coaches. At the time, remember, he had his son on there. He had some guys that it's a lot like Todd Bowles' situation where he's working with the same guys that he's familiar with, and it's not working. You need new voices. You need new energy. Todd Bowles is going to be receptive to it. Lovie Smith was not, and that's the reason why. And then on top of it, there were teams out there at the time, Miami and the San Francisco 49ers, who were going after Dirk Cutter. And because of the offensive cohesion, if you will, with Jameis Winston, they got worried about ruining a quarterback. How do you ruin a quarterback? You look at what Atlanta's going through right now. Michael Penix is going to have a second offensive coordinator. That is not what you do to young quarterbacks. Look at Baker Mayfield. It's been amazing that he's been able to have some success in the league, but he would probably have more success if you had kept the same offensive coordinator throughout the year. So the way they looked at it, Dirk Cutter at the time was a coaching candidate for the Miami Dolphins, for the San Francisco 49ers. They decided to replace Lovie with Dirk Cutter because he wanted to keep that offensive cohesion with Jameis Winston. That was the story that I heard.
But, and here's my thing. These guys have to have somewhat of a decision based on the analysis as well as the probabilities. And you're a smart guy. You report very well.
Thank you.
The probabilities of us making big leaps are very low. If anything, we're probably going to be doing more of the same. So why do that? At the end of the day, end of the year, you're going to be in the right, probably in the same spot as you are right now.
Because
just delay it. And we got Mike Evans, man. I mean, he's on his last leg. I'd like to see him go deep in the playoffs with it.
Well, and I think a lot of people would say, listen, Mike Evans is not going anywhere. He's going to stay with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and all this nonsense of, he's going to change coaches. Levante David may not necessarily want to go through a rebuild. Maybe you bring him back. He's not necessarily the same Levante David, if you will, but maybe you get an opportunity to bring him back. I don't think it's going to happen. Everything I hear, he's done, but you have to consider that. And then you go back to it. This is the tool of free agency in the first place. Listen, you can draft and build a team, but at a certain point, that window is open, right, Frankie? So that window is open. You have to take advantage of free agency. And if you can go out there and get an edge rusher like a Trey Hendrickson, or you can trade for Max Crosby or somebody like that and bring them and add them to that defense, it improves that defense overnight. You need one player, in my opinion, one player on that edge. It takes the pressure off of everybody on that defensive line. And once you get that one player who can cause havoc, it takes the pressure off your linebacker. You still have to address that. It makes your secondary that much better. We know this all too well with this Bucs defense in the past. If you get pressure on the quarterback, it helps everybody else in that back end. And you need that player like a Hendrickson or a Max Crosby. Just my opinion. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the call, man. You said, you used the second call. Keep on calling. Keep on tuning in here on the Evolution. Bucs fans, you're always welcome, especially you, my friend. Okay, you brought it tonight.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Good stuff there. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Of course, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. YouTube Super Chats are open. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. We'll go out to these comments because I know there's a lot of them. We don't want to neglect you either, webheads. You can comment here. You can call in. Miss some calls tonight. Call back. Hopefully you can call back. It's been a long day, but glad to hear it's about to feel more like a support group. It is. Let's go out to KR. Hey, Peter and crew, Happy New Year, buddy. Absolutely. Keeping Bowles is certainly a decision. I know that this better get a kick in the ass. Offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator agree.
Oh, yeah.
Bella Bell says, Happy New Year to all. I'm not feeling this decision. Okay, but thank you very much for tuning in again. Happy New Year to you. Let's go out to Joseph Collins here. Maybe the Glazers will change their minds. They did with John Gruden and Bruce Allen. Again, though, what played a part in that was when they had this meeting, which they set up with Todd Bowles on Tuesday. They liked his responses. When they had this meeting with John Gruden a long time ago, they didn't like his responses. Again, he told them to pound sand and didn't say pound sand. He said something else. I bet you can guess what it was. All right, let's go out to this guy right here.
Mr.
Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. Turn your phone down, please. Welcome to the Evolution.
What's up, brother?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
No, we're doing good. I was listening to, I heard Abraham calling. First of all, great show tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, it's a big, listen, it's a big day for Bucs fans. I know it's emotional for a lot of them because they wanted Todd Bowles fired and they didn't like the results. But again, I would keep this in perspective. And a lot of Bucs fans are saying, well, they're mediocre. Well, mediocre to me is like 4 to 6 wins a year. Mediocre or awful is like having 1 or 2 wins and, talking draft in October. That's mediocre. That's awful. What you're doing right now, I get it. It doesn't necessarily feel so good, but you're still able to be competitive. You're still winning your division. You still have an opportunity to win this division and go further if you make the proper moves. And I think that's what the Glazers were looking at. And then furthermore, you want to keep that stability. You want to keep that culture. And it means something. You can sit here and all day long and talk about teams hiring and firing coaches and cleaning house. But Bucs fans, you can't be patient when this team has 8 or 9 wins. You're going to be patient for the next couple years for this team to rebuild. You think it's going to change overnight? Again.
And Pete, it's not just that. Can I just go ahead and let's just put this right out front?
Sure.
Anybody, I mean, not just Bucs fan, any team, any fan of any professional team, not just NFL football. It could be the Football International, or it could be whatever else. If you actually think just because your team had an 8-9 year and missed the playoffs or what have you, and you think your team's playing mediocre in the case of the NFL, then you're forgetting the fact that the 31 other teams, those billionaire owners, they're also spending every penny and resource to make their teams better. And it's obtuse to think that just because your team played back to the pack, the pack caught you. The fact of the matter is that the NFL is evolved. They have the greatest thing about they have great competition because of salary cap and all that. But my thing is that there was a time the Bucs were 6-2 this year, and we were literally Baker had 12 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Yes,
and we were starting to make a serious argument that this was a MVP season. And let's be honest, last year he was also on pace, but this year early he was really on pace. Correct?
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay. So the guy that was calling those plays, the OC that was in Baker's pocket, the guy that's been with him and been his buddy in his pocket since camp, before the clavicle injury to Evans, before the worst injury, before Godwin didn't get back, before we lose almost McMillan to a broken neck and Bucky goes down, the guy that still had Baker, and those injuries is what brought that offense back to the back. You want to fire that guy. Guys, girls, if Bowles is your coach, and we don't know yet because the Glazers will make their call. They are the owners, and we're just the fans. But if he's your coach, we need to be talking about the defensive coach and coordinator he's going to bring in, because we need to find someone who's still going to run a 3-4, his style of a defense. But we do need because Larry Foote, he was the COVID fill-in. It's just this guy's a legend. He is a great coach, but that can't be your backup, your OC, and then Todd's got to give up play calling. If Todd's your coach in 2026, and I think he is, the Glazers have to get out of him. We still want your style. We still want your defense, the one that helped us beat those Chiefs, the unbeatable Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, which in 2025 they were actually beatable, but back then they weren't. We want that guy, but we needed to be the COO, the Chief Operating Officer, and bring in, so we can talk about Shieldhouse. And I'm telling you, Abraham's right. That cat is a fantastic OC-minded guy, and he will be a head coach in this league. We can talk about Liam back to there and Canales, what he's doing with the Panthers, but the defensive side of the ball is where we need to apply where Bowles is going to have to meet, and that's I think, Pete, and I'm sorry, thanks for letting me ramble, but I think that's going to be when the rubber meets the road. If Todd Bowles sat down with the Glazers, unlike Tony Dungy with Clyde Christensen in 1999, 2000, if he refused to bring in an infusion of talent on the defensive side or give up those play calling, then I think that would have been what we would be hearing at John Harbaugh. And why wouldn't you want to come to a tax-free Florida? And that applies to the coaches too, not just the players, and Tampa Bay and a Jason Light team with the studs that we continue to put out there. But I just want to say that if Bowles is our coach, our HC, and I believe he totally is in 2026, it's not the offensive side we're looking to stimulate, because that guy had Baker on an MVP before all that crap hit the fan. He had us really rocking. It's the defensive side that we need the infusion, because the Todd Bowles 0 blitzes are getting very old.
Yeah, zero blitzes when you don't get there. You're absolutely correct. And again, I understand that Todd Bowles likes to blitz, but I think he's more doing that because you don't necessarily have the horses. And listen, that's on Jason Light. That's on Jason Light to get you an edge rusher, so you're able to rush for instead of try to bring pressure when you don't need to. You're trying to create that pressure that you're not able to get from the 4. You need a linebacker to cover that middle. You need 2 linebackers at this point. Even if Levante David does come back, you still need a heir apparent. You need somebody other than Savasier Dennis. You've got to make some moves at those points. And then for me, I mean, maybe you go out there and get a corner, but I think you're pretty set in that secondary. So again, defensive pieces, edge rusher, maybe a couple edge rushers at the end of the day, and then also a couple of linebackers. And I think you're good. And maybe fill in some depth pieces, especially to that offensive line. But I think really this offense struggled when you had those multiple injuries, especially to your guards and a Bretterson and of course a Cody Mock and
Cody Mock. That's a player. And you mentioned it last week on your show.
Right.
That's one of the players that we didn't talk about this season.
Malk.
We talked about,
Excuse me, Cody Malk. Yes, Cody Malk. Go ahead. No.
I mean, the fact that what he fit, we are all surprised. Oh, this guy brings in. We bring in this kid with he's missing 3 teeth up front. You bring him in the redheaded right tackle, but the fact of the matter is that kid became a solid part, and he was lost before we even got the season started.
Well, so, but I mean, again, it's all about the continuity. It's not just coaching; it's about the offensive line. It's so important. I got to run here, Ray. Appreciate the call, man. Use that second one. We'll be back on Saturday, okay, my friend?
Got you, brother.
All right, man. Happy New Year. Absolutely. Let me go out because I want to get everybody's call here, so I'm going to go out to this guy. And then we will read the comments and we'll wrap it up for the night. We'll be back on Saturday.
Hey, dude.
Yes.
What's going on?
What's going on, Cole CSB, brother? Welcome to the Evolution. Your thoughts here. Todd Bowles being retained by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, according to the Tampa Bay Times. So your thoughts?
I think it's the right move. I don't think it's a splash move. I don't think it's a rash move. I think it's smart. I think they need to, like I've been agreeing with you with the defense, needs to be fixed. And I'm wondering if there's, I know everybody loves Mbuka, but I'm wondering if there's any kind of buyer's remorse for not picking up the middle linebacker from Alabama and Philadelphia picked up in the last pick of the first round. But I tell you what, linebacker has to be the number 1 pick. This year. It has to be the 15th pick or pass rush, one of the two. I would think linebacker, if you're going to go 3-4, either way, either inside or outside, and I think there's going to have to be 3 rookies. Linebacker, 3, not 2, 3, because you have to have a pass rusher
that's
on the
why
outside
you go,
and 2 inside.
Listen, that's
not
why you
just
go.
Dennis.
Hold on, that's why you go veteran. That's why you go veteran when it comes to pass rush and edge rush. You go out there and get a veteran.
But who's available?
Trey Hendrickson or Max Crosby. You could trade for Max Crosby, John Spytek, that relationship with Jason Light. Maybe you pull that off. Trey Hendrickson's out there in free agency. Those are the guys you
Trey
get.
Hendrickson's probably your best bet, because I don't think they're going to trade. I don't know if you have a defensive trade like a Keyshawn Johnson type offensive trade from back in the day. I don't know that there's.
Would you trade a first round this year and first round next year for Max Crosby? Yes or no?
Give up the 15th pick.
Yep. For Max Crosby
and a first round next year.
Yes.
I think I would, but I don't. I think it's going to be more than that.
Might be.
I think you're gonna need a player as well.
Well, I'm willing to give up some players. A player here. I don't know who the player is going to be, but I'm willing.
Would you give up Savasier Dennis?
Yes.
Would you give up? Who's the other? I guess that's the pass rusher, right? That we have on the outside. Would you give up Savasier Dennis or would you give up the safety?
Tyke Smith? I don't know about Tyke. Antoine Winfield Jr. No.
Winfield Jr.
No, it's too much.
And 2 first-round picks.
I give up 2 first-round picks or a first round and the third round, something along those lines. First round, third round this year, and maybe a first round next year for Max Crosby. Absolutely. That solidifies your line at that point.
And okay, so let's say I'm going to play the Raiders GM here, and I'm going to say, no, I want 2 first rounder this year, first rounder next year, and Savassi Dennis.
Take it.
Done, okay, and then you're saying yes, absolutely.
Done deal. Yes, you can have Savassi Dennis. Yes. Go for that. Yeah, you can have Savassi Dennis because
you're saying you can't have the cornerstones, but you can have our good guys.
You can have Savassi Dennis because I don't think he's a cornerstone on this team, and he's shown.
No, but I'm saying you can't have the cornerstones like the Vita Veas or the safety junior Winfield Jr. or like those kind of guys.
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, those are the only 2 cornerstones we got on this defense because that's how bad the defense is right now.
I mean, I think Javi's not bad. I think he's pretty good. He's got to develop more. I mean, he's got to get to the quarterback more, but I think he's developing. He's slow developing, but I think he's developing. He's developing into a leader too with some of the comments that he had this week, which we'll get to in just a moment, which is kind of, again, damning on this coaching staff, but then again, you kind of understand the other side of it. So we'll get to it, but I definitely think he's a player that you look at. I think Kalijah Cansey, if he can stay healthy, we continue to say this the last couple of years. If he can stay healthy, it definitely helps that defensive line out. But again, if you get one player, an edge rusher like a Max Crosby, or you get a guy like a Trey Hendrickson, I definitely think it changes your fortunes, especially when it comes to getting pressure on the quarterback.
Yes, but that wasn't the problem this year. The problem this year was both guards went out. I mean, who would have thought guard would have been our kryptonite this year?
Yeah, it was that was tough. Definitely tough.
I mean, we have a top 5 offensive line in the league if we have all 5 starters last year. I mean, look at what happened last year versus this year, and we had a healthy offensive line.
Yeah.
So, I mean, guard and middle linebacker not having an heir apparent there for David. I think Levante David's going to be gone. I honestly think it's possible that Mike could be gone.
Mike's not gone. I don't think Mike's
You
gone.
don't think so,
No.
Mike? You don't think Mike's gone by after this year?
No. He's got a
So
couple
you think
more
he's got
years.
one more year?
I think he's got 2 or 3 more years.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying, I think he can. I just think, will he? Because a 3rd and 29 and 4th and 14 took a lot out of him.
Well, he was upset. I mean, he's emotional. It's an emotional game. You don't expect to lose that game. You win that game against the Atlanta Falcons, and your fortunes are different. You at least got to win one of those games. Versus
well,
the
you
Saints
win
and
that
the
game
Falcons.
against Atlanta, and you don't have the second thing that you need for the division title. That game against Carolina is for the division title, and we win it.
That's it. Yep.
That's it comes all this crap for all this stuff. That's the game that you had to win.
Agree.
And if you can't win against, I mean, because we both of us sat here and said, okay, and that was the week that TJ Reeves came and said, I'll hold the door for you.
Go away. I will hold the door.
Yes, I will hold the door. That's when he said that, when we lost all those games against those good players, against those good teams, and then you had all these home games left. That's where the season was lost, right there, when you couldn't win against your own division opponent. I don't care that we lost to New England. I don't care that we lost to Buffalo. I don't care. I mean, come on, really? Do we really think we were going to win against those guys? I don't think so.
Well,
not at that point.
You had opportunities to win those games. That's a disappointing thing. You did, but your defense is not able to get off the field. Your offense doesn't play up to snuff.
And they only lost by what, a 1-score game against Carolina, against New England.
Yeah.
I mean, they got beat by an all-world performance by the Buffalo quarterback,
Josh Allen. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, who it's 6 touchdowns, and I mean, who expects to get 6 touchdowns? They give up 6 touchdowns by that guy. I mean, he had an all-world performance, and you just got to give it to him. Sometimes you got to give it to the other guy because the other guy gets paid too. But the problem is you can't give up 3rd and 29 to a division opponent and let Kirk Cousins run all over you.
Yeah.
Is there any possibility we could get Kirk Cousins as our backup so we don't have to play him next year? Is there any possibility we could do that?
I don't know about that. That's a big time contract, and who knows? He may be.
Well, they just restructured it, so who knows? It's possible.
It is possible. It's definitely possible, but I think he's going to be their starting quarterback next year because Penix is coming off an injury. We'll see how that works out. What coach, where they go at this point, but
they're a scary team if they get a good coach. So
I agree. They're always a scary team. They always got hype, but it comes back to coaching, comes back to stability, and they don't have that, and the Bucs do.
Yes.
So
yes, that's true. That's true.
And you got to give it to them. The defense gave Josh Allen as much as he wanted and everything he wanted. You still got to stop giving it to him. I'll throw another name out there who's a free agent who's coming from Buffalo. That'd be Joey Bosa, but he can't stay healthy, but he's out there possibly as a free agent. So that's another player that you may kick the tires on. Khalil Mack, I know he's out there. Not necessarily the greatest year, but if you're going to go out there.
Could you get both of those guys? I mean, it's possible to rotate them. I mean, get both of them. I mean, I know they're old, and I know, but I mean,
I think Trey Hendrickson. I think Trey Hendrickson's more of a possibility at this point. He's from Florida. You get an opportunity to come back to the division, torment the New Orleans Saints. And I think, again, the Glazers and Jason Lyon are going to be more aggressive when it comes to this year. And you're going to have to be because the window is there. The pressure is on. You're going to have to do something different than what you've done here the last couple of years. Cole, appreciate the time as always, my friend.
It's always been a pleasure, man. I love the show. I love what you do, and you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank you, my friend.
Take care.
Appreciate you. Absolutely. All right. So open phone line 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. So we talked about that. Bruce Allen. Let's see here. The Bucs deserve to go 3-14. Let's go out to Alex. Alex, welcome to the Evolution. Todd Bowles stays in 2026. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give you a few. Listen, I'm okay with it. After the season of a few days to kind of calm down from very upsetting second half of the 2025 season, it's disappointing. But here's what I think the Buccaneers need to do. Todd Bowles can be a very good head coach if he's being a head coach. If I'm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, there's a lot of defensive coordinators out there looking for a job. Lots. Lot of great coordinators out there.
Possibly Raheem Morris. I mean, Bucs fans, you know him as a defensive coordinator, what he did with the Rams. Is that a guy that's certainly a possibility? We'll see.
There's some great coordinators out there, but listen, I've told you all season long that you can't do two jobs. We can't do two jobs. I can't do someone else's job. You can't do someone else's job. We're here to focus on one job. And I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, correct me if I'm wrong, are the only team that has their head coach, also their defensive coordinator, and it just doesn't work. But I'm not going to put this all on Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles, I've said this a couple times, and I said this a few weeks back, and I'm just going to remind some people who's watching what my opinion is. Todd Bowles is not calling a bad defense. For all of those, sure, maybe the blitzing is a little bit much, but for the most part, I don't think Todd Bowles is calling a really terrible defense. The problem is that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lack the defense for his play calling. I've watched many instances where, and by the way, so what I'm saying is Jason Light has been slacking these past couple years. Tryon McCollum, why give him an extension after one decent year? That much too. What a bust that was. There are multiple issues with the defense on some contracts and some very questionable things. Didn't do anything to get pass rushing. I mean, our pass rushing was non-existent, this entire season. So what I'm saying is I don't think Todd Bowles is a bad head coach. I think he's a great head coach. But the Buccaneers lack the talent for his type of play calling. That's my opinion on it. That's a Jason-like issue. But I'm okay with Todd Bowles coming back for the 2026 season and coaching this team. It would be dumb. It would truly be dumb to do a complete coaching reset because, after thinking about it, You don't know what's going to happen if you get all new coaching in here. Could we see? I mean, look at the bad head coaches that the Bucs have had in the past where we tanked for years. Listen, I've been critical. I have. I've been very, very, very critical of Todd Bowles, and I can admit there's been times I've even said I don't want him here. But at the end of the day, I just think that we lacked a lot of talent. I think there's issues that need to be addressed with Jason Light. Listen, he brought some great guys in here. I really believe he's a big reason why Tom Brady came here, got the Super Bowl. I mean, that roster alone that year was incredible. But these last couple years, man, I just don't think that the Buccaneers have the talent to match his kind of defense. Because, like I said, if you go watch the tape, man, I mean, you got Jamel Dean example on one side of the ball, playing tight coverage, playing great defense. But then you got the other side of the ball where Matthew Stafford is eating up one dude all day, and you ain't got no one to go to. You just lack that. You just lack talent on the defensive side of the ball. And I really do think defense was a majority of the issue. Sure, people are going to sit here and slander Baker Mayfield and his interceptions, and sure, people are going to blame the quarterback because that's just what we do. We think the quarterback is the issue. It's always Baker's fault. We always just look at the interceptions. We always look at the one thing that ends the game, not making excuses. But Bucs fans are going to find out real quick in a couple weeks, not only the extent of his injuries and how bad he was hurt. I really think he's been playing through several bad injuries. And we're going to hear about it. I'm pretty sure we're going to hear about it.
Yep.
But
I definitely think you're right. I think not only the shoulder injuries there, but you also had the oblique and you had the knee. We're going to find out. You're definitely going to find out.
Hey, last thing too.
Yes.
Last thing too. This is the first year I can honestly say, if we go back and tape, Baker ran for his life this entire season. This entire season, the offensive line was shuffling all year long.
Sure.
Tristan Wirfs was hurt for a while. Edison went down for a while. I mean, the entire offensive line has never been together, and this man is just knew nothing but running for his life. You add that plus injury, it's a recipe for disaster. Sure, am I going to sit here and defend, interceptions, and especially the ones that end the game? There's been a couple game-ending interceptions, but I'm sorry, Bucs fans. I love all y'all. But those interceptions are the least of the Buccaneers' problems. That defense, that last caller, I believe it was dead spot on. Those 3rd and 28s, those 4th and longs, I'm not saying Todd Bowles calls bad defense, but you just can't do two jobs in one. And you got to get a DC in here. Get a DC in here. Keep Todd Bowles head coach. Get an offensive coordinator in here. Sorry, Josh Grizzard did not cut it. His offense didn't work, in my opinion. I don't know and by the way, this is a question I have before I get out of here. You're not going to sit here and tell me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of Bucs fans are saying that there's no way that Josh Grizzard was calling that entire offense all season. There's no way that I believe that Josh Grizzard was choosing to do the opposition of what was supposed to work. You get all 4 wide receivers. If you put the Buccaneers wide receiver core healthy on paper, which is what you saw at the second half of the season, especially toward the end, that is a top 5 wide receiver core in the NFL, easily. Why are we running the ball? Why are we just running the ball? Why are we running the ball? And we're just because, example, Carolina has a good pass defense, example, so we just don't pass the ball at all? I'm sorry. I don't think that was Josh Grizzard's calling. So, listen, I think Todd Bowles is a good head coach. I don't think he's a bad head coach, but you got to get a DC in here. And on the offensive side, you got to figure out who's going to, calling the play calling, because I don't know if that's Todd Bowles or if that's truly Josh Grizzard calling some nonsense. But I think, listen, in the offseason, get some pass rush. We had 0 pass rush all season. Fix that offensive line. You don't even really need to get pieces on the offensive line, in my opinion. Let's get healthy. Just get healthy.
That's it.
If this offensive line can come back next year, get healthy, you really still have a dangerous offense. You really do. A lot of injuries kept the offense on the first half of the season down, but man, I just can't believe if you went back to the last 6 games, how we couldn't take one game, just one of those games. And it just blows my mind. Hey, but listen, great work all season. Thank you so much for all your hard work all season, all your coverage on the field, off the field, at Ray J, at Tampa Joe's. I know I could never make it out this season. It's been a wild year for me too, but thank you and the Greek and TJ Reeves for all your hard work. And it does not go unnoticed one bit. So, hey, Rays baseball is coming soon in a few months. We'll be talking some baseball again. And
we will. Absolutely. Alex, appreciate the call as always. All right, good stuff there. Let's go out to these comments. Again, I'll read them. We'll take phone calls. What's your feeling on Todd Bowles coming back for 2026? 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. The Bucs deserve to go 3-14. Scott, I got the feeling Pete's going to have a meltdown from all the negativity, or maybe he'll come around to the dark side. I have no negativity. Again, you guys can feel the way you feel. We'll have an opinion. We'll talk about it. There's going to be no meltdown here. A lot of media members and a lot of people on Twitter like crashing out and fire Todd Bowles, and it's not a personal thing for me. Like, this is life for me because I love football. I love the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I love covering it. I love talking to you and having this show. But as far as like crashing out and like melting down and all this other nonsensical garbage, I'm going to trust that this organization knows what the hell they're doing. I'm going to trust that Jason Light knows what they're doing and that they have confidence in Todd Bowles. Then we're going to cover it like that. And we're going to dissect it if it's not right. And we're going to have opinions. And we're going to talk about the offseason and what they're going to do with coaching changes and the combine and the draft. And, of course, free agency coming up here in the next couple months. It never ends here on the Sports Web. It's never over. Just because the season's over doesn't mean it's over. It's never over here on the evolution of sports talk television. That's why you got to keep on tuning in all season. This ownership is scared to be great. They could hire the next Sean McVay, but elect to stay mediocre, pathetic. Let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the evolution.
Hey, Peter, Jeremy.
Jeremy, what's going on? I'm doing good, buddy. What do you think of the decision today to retain Todd Bowles as the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2026?
Realistically, it doesn't surprise me because if you look at the coaching carousel, the only popular name we can really put there is John Harbaugh. But as reports were, piling up today, apparently he wants his own GM, and there's no way the Glades were going to fire Jason Light. And I respect that. Correct. Because to me, I know some people want to put blame on Jason Light, which he deserves part of the blame. He is. He's part of the blame.
Gotta wear it.
But what do? You get back on the horse and you get better, right?
That's it.
So to me, I'm confident Light can fits what needs to be fits, which mostly defense, because the offense is all there. He's got to get the right play caller. I feel Grizzard's out. Bye. See ya. Great effort. Begin the season, but now it's time to go get a real offensive coordinator, in which I feel there's some good candidates out there. Now, Cliff Kingsbury, I will say this. Him and Baker didn't have the best relationship at Texas Tech, and that's why he transferred to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
How's the relationship now? We'll see. I wouldn't mind him. Brian Daboll, I wouldn't mind him.
There's another name right there. We didn't even talk about him. I mean, great offensive coordinator, maybe not necessarily the greatest coach. I mean, you get into a situation with the New York Giants. Maybe that's somebody that you would consider. I mean, there's some names out there. Mike LaFleur, somebody threw that out there from the Rams staff. Maybe that's a guy that you can get loose because you look at, again, the Rams and that coaching tree and Sean McVay and how tremendous he is. And keep in mind, he was in that Bucs building, and, of course, he was working under Gruden at the time. And, of course, Kyle Shanahan was working under Gruden at the time. He had those type of coaches. So a lot of people looking at, McVay and his coaching tree and guys that are associated with him as being, a play caller, and because they're looking for Liam Cohen. And I get it. Liam Cohen's not walking through that door, but maybe you can get somebody that's a young play caller that can come in here and solidify this offense and make this offense explosive like it was a couple of years ago, unlike what it was this year.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Sean McVay tree, right?
Right.
There's a popular name. I don't know, maybe I mentioned on the show. I'm a little late tonight. Nate Shieldhouse.
Everybody's been our guy Abraham has been mentioning him, Jeremy, for the umpteenth time. He wants him. He's a big time candidate. The Bucs interviewed him last year. They didn't give him the job, but maybe that's the guy you go with. And I don't have any problem with it. I think he's a young guy. I think that he's under that Sean McVay tree. Can he call plays? Has he ever been able to call plays? We'll see. Is that somebody the Bucs want to invest in?
All right, and when you say calling plays, let's go back in time a little bit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He was a play caller at Iowa State for at least, I believe, a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So let's go back to Liam Cohen. He really didn't have a lot of play call experience in the NFL. He had a little bit to the end of the 22 season.
Yeah, he had 1 year with the Rams, and he had some with the Kentucky Wildcats in college.
Exactly,
yes.
but he was in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. So it would be risky. It would. But I say you pick apart that Sean McVay tree, whatever you can, offense and defensively, because to me, they're a team that Super Bowl contenders, even though they slipped up a couple weeks ago, and people are saying they lost to the Panthers early in the season, they won't lose to them twice. I would love to pick from the Sean McVay tree any day of the week. So Shieldhouse would be my number one target. But Brian Dable will be one I would look at. I don't think he's going to get a head coaching job. I think he'll get an offensive coordinator job. Cleve Kingsbury, I don't know what his relationship is with Baker, because I know they had the best at Texas Tech, and that's why he went to Oklahoma. If you go back in history, back in time here.
Mm.
And then I will say this about Bowles. I like him as a person. We all love him as a person. You know, from all the pods I watch, all the years we watched them, I just feel it's time for him to give up the play calling duties, which was part of the reason why he's staying, supposedly, but we don't know. It's time to bring in a defensive coordinator. Maybe I hear Raheem Norris' name popping out, that he could be one, because he's not going to get a head coaching job. I feel he will be one to take a defensive coordinator job. It's time to hand it over to somebody and just be the stand-up guy like Bruce Arians was, and like some of the other guys were, like Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh and John Harbaugh in Baltimore. Those guys were stand-up coaches, and I just think that will help Bowles game management better. You know, like hand over the play call news to a trustworthy defensive coordinator, and they're out there. You know, we can take a chance on a defensive coordinator, you know, to come in there and call the plays. And if all's failed, then we're looking at, you know, a new head coach, new GM, and a new quarterback in 27. I don't want that, but that's being realistic here. This is going to be the final chance for the whole entire front office, because to me, the only good candidate was John Harbaugh, but we're not going to fire light for him. End of the day.
Nope.
Plain and simple.
You're not. Good stuff, Jeremy. Anything else here on the evolution, my friend?
I will say, how about the Tampa Bay Lightning? They're on fire.
8 in a row, my friend. 8 in a row, yes.
I'm laying my focus on the Tampa Bay Lightning until Braves baseball, NFL draft, which will be on my birthday, I believe.
There you go. Happy birthday.
April 23rd on a Thursday, so I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
Anytime, I'm just going to sit back and see what Bowles does in the next couple of days, because obviously Grizzard is out. I just feel that. I'm sorry. You had your chance, and now it's time to go get an experienced office coordinator or take a chance on Shieldhouse, who I think is 10 times better than Grizzard. Plain and simple.
All right. Jeremy, appreciate the call as always. We'll see you on Saturday. All right, my friend?
Yes, sir. Take care, man. God bless.
All right. God bless you. Yeah, absolutely, Bucs fans. We'll come back on Saturday morning, afternoon, and we'll give you a show and talk about some playoffs and talk about what's going on with this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team, which I think, again, they're bound to make some moves here in the next couple of days. I really am. Okay, so ownership upped us big time. No statement from the Glazers yet. Tim says, good evening, Peter. Bowles must have had one hell of an offseason plan. You would think so. I was listening today to how the Glazers are upsetting two fan bases here in England. Like what? Yes, Manchester United. Are the Glazers actual football fans or just owners for the money? Because how the F are they okay with bringing him back after this past season? They're definitely football fans. They want to win. They've been able to win. They want to win at all costs. But they feel like this is the best decision for this organization going forward, whether you agree with it or not. And you can tweak some things and see what happens at this point. And I think the injury situation, again, a lot of people say it's an excuse, but it hurt this team this year, especially offensively. when it comes to your offensive line. Here in Tampa and in England, they should like how that's even possible across their seat, doing the same thing. Let's go out to Damn It, Jim.
Damn it, Jim, what the hell is the matter with you?
Hello, Peter Blake, the Sports Web. Hello to you. Van House Life fired Todd Bowles. Not happening. Sorry. Hope the Bucs lose out next year, so he's gone. Not happening. I don't know why you hope that the Bucs lose out if you're a Bucs fan. Just to get a coach fired. I don't know who does that. I think you're just a troll at this point. I hope the stadium is filled with opposing fans. It already has been filled with opposing fans. Can't wait to barely win the division a fourth year in a row. Ed says it's a Bucs life. Again, a Bucs life is, double-digit losing seasons. That's a Bucs life. Having 8, 9, 10 wins, being in contention for a playoff is a good life. It's not necessarily, you make it sound like it's the worst life of all time. And I like some of you to go back in the time machine and see what happened when they fired John Gruden and when you had to go with Raheem Morris and Greg Schiano and Lovie Smith and Dirk Cutter, and then come back to me and tell me what a Bucs life is. I really would. The owners need to watch it better. Broadway says, hey, Peter, what's going on, boss? How you doing? The Bucs could have went to get Jim or Mike Tomlin, but instead stick with the generic brand of crap. Chris Cole, hardball, 18 years, and sometimes elite players and only one championship. Correct. And also possibly falling out with Lamar Jackson. Peter the Great, go Bucs. Go Bucs. Thank you very much.
Fire the cannon!
Let's go. I'm not. Let's go out to Zach. I'm ready to hear Bucs Basement call. He did call before. Why shouldn't we bring the nonsense? The Glazers brought it. Let's go out to Bella. Todd says, or it's confirmed by the owners. It is a report from the Tampa Bay Times. Rick Stroud, Todd Bowles text Rick Stroud saying that he's coming back for 2026. I'll take it like that. I was joking, Van House Life. If I said that to my bosses, I would get fired. Dave says, well, I guess we're lucky that we're in the worst division in the NFL where we don't need a good coach to win. The Bears. Okay. Scott says, hell, even T. Kraz is scratching his head. I get that. Just make it make sense. Rob DePrez Thompson. Once again, happy birthday to you. Happy belated birthday. Got a chance to see you. Did they fire any of the coaches yet? Not yet, but there should be some big changes here in the next couple days. What player coaches would want to come here knowing that Todd is on a short leash, might be fired at the end of the next year. They'll be looking for a new job. Or you come here as an offensive coordinator and you have an opportunity to get a job with another NFL team or with the Bucs if it works out for you, because Dave Canales called and Liam Cohen called and they wanted to know what the heck you're talking about. So this is an attractive position. Make no mistake about it. All the weapons, all the talent is here. And an offensive coordinator, I believe, will definitely take advantage of it. Oh, we're definitely in rebuild mode now. I definitely don't think you're in rebuild mode at this point. If you're in rebuild mode, you're firing your general manager, you're firing your coach, you're getting rid of your quarterback, you're getting rid of all your veteran players. That is rebuild. That is what a rebuild is. This is a reload. This is a retool. This is keeping that window open. Again, understand the difference between a retool and a rebuild. A rebuild is what they did in 2009 when they hired John Gruden. And they had a mass exodus of veteran players, cutting Derek Brooks, cutting Warwick Dunn, cutting all the veterans at this point, and then getting a new coach. And you Bucs fans weren't patient back then. You think you're going to be patient now? Some of you guys are entitled. Some of you guys are spoiled. I get it. I understand the high expectations and the talent. But again, keep this in perspective. This is not a rebuild. This is a retool. If you want to rebuild, you fire everybody. And some of you Bucs fans, again, you love the chaos. You love that. And it's not the way you should live. It's not the way you live the NFL life. You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, keep on going back to it. 3 coaches and 60 years of that organization's history? That's stability. That's why they're not able to win a Super Bowl every year. No team can win a Super Bowl every year, but they're competitive. They are in the playoffs. They are going to be in it to win it. They're not hiring and firing coaches and getting rid of coaches every 2 to 3 years and changing systems. That doesn't work. It hasn't worked with the Bucs in the past. Why would it work now? It doesn't work with other teams. You want to be the Cleveland Browns? You want to be the Miami Dolphins? You want to be the New York Jets? What do you want to be? What do you want to be, Bucs fans? What life do you want to live? You want to get rid of all these coaches all the time? You want to get rid of all these general managers and players and let them go out the door off of one season? My goodness. How much more money can the Bucs spend this upcoming cap? Looks like about $34 million, and that could change. Actually, let's see here. They enter the 2026 offseason with the workable cap outlook. Over the cap currently lists Tampa Bay at roughly $37 million in cap space under the top 51 rule. Through that number will tighten once the whole roster, practice squad, and other offseason. You could also think that cap is going to go up. You know how I feel about this cap. It's like the national deficit. We talk about it every year, how you owe this and owe that, and how you can make it work. Jason Light, Mike Greenberg over there have made it work. They need to make it work because it's a big year for this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. There you go. Move Bowles back to defensive coordinator. Now you're on to something. Bella says, but even Greek, even you know that past is the past. Yes, Harbaugh. Bella says, no, Chris Shula, young dose of energy. Work Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen. Again, two examples. It also hasn't worked around the league all the time. It doesn't work all the time. Doesn't work changing coaches all the time and changing GMs and changing philosophies. Watching the best sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area, the Sports Web with Harry Berg. Let's go get an OC coach and more people without injuries. Yes, you got to get healthy. Thomas Ferguson, bringing up that trauma just made me appreciate the season. Bingo. Bingo, bango, right there. I brought up trauma to you, Bucs fans. You know about this. Don't act like this is like the worst season of all time. It hurts you're not in the playoffs. It hurts that you're not winning the NFC South, and you feel like you should be there. But is this the worst thing? Is this the worst team you've seen all time? Come on, Bucs fans. You're better than this, and you know it. I'm not trying to scold you here, but come on. Give some perspective here. I go on social media. Oh, I'm going to give my Bucs tickets up. Give them up. You weren't a fan in the first place. Move along. Go away. Let somebody else be a Bucs fan. Come on. How long can we keep using him? Won the Super Bowl 5 years ago as a defensive coordinator? I mean, it's a fact. I'm not saying everything he's done is perfect, but it is a fact. We use facts on this show, not just emotion. He has won nothing of his own. He didn't win nothing of his own. He was a defensive coordinator of that team. This was Bruce Arians built. So Todd Bowles had nothing to do with it as a defensive coordinator. I've heard it all. I don't forget the days of him being the Jets head coach. He was horrible, just as bad now. Every coach that goes to the New York Jets is horrible. You know why? Because they're a horrible organization. That's exactly what I'm talking about right there. Example one, horrible. Well, he's always horrible coach. What coach has been successful with the New York Jets the last 10 years? Yes, exactly. Crickets, nothing. Nobody. Maybe Rex Ryan for a little bit. How long ago was that? What coach has been successful with the New York Jets? And you think Bowles is the answer. Under 500, winning the division is a flex. Jeff says it's going to be interesting to see who the new offensive coordinator, right-hand defensive coordinator to Bowles is. David says, everybody keeps saying it. Do you want to go back to what you used to be? So you're saying you have no faith in the organization to bring a coach or even a good GM. Okay. No, I have faith in them. I have no faith in this fan base that they won't lose their freaking mind. I have no faith in this fan base that if you try to bring in a young coach, that you won't be able to give them patience because you're trying to fire them every time they mess up or every time you don't win a game. Handily. I don't have any confidence in a lot of this fan base at this point. I don't. Curtis, go ahead. Welcome to the Evolution.
Listen, yes, everybody sucks with the Jets. But you got to remember, if you go back and you pay attention, Todd Bowles had a good year or two with the Jets. The team just was terrible.
And he got the most out of them, right?
He got the most out of them.
Right.
I mean, and I mean, you got the most with this team, and you basically had backups and rookies all year.
Yes.
All year. And you know what people have to look at is next year, you basically have 4 wide receivers, 5. What are we going to keep? Are we going to keep Evans? Are we going to keep Godwin? What are you going to do with McMillan? You're not going to get rid of Ibuka. So there's so many other things that we have to worry about.
They don't see it. They don't see it. They see the hatred for Todd Bowles. That's what it's about. That's what it's always about.
it's not just about. You know what? Nobody was talking shit when the defense was shutting out teams. And guess what? The defense it will never be the same because that defense was stacked. Stacked.
Yep.
We're not. I mean, we have a pretty good defense. The problem is nobody can stay healthy. Antoine Winfield missed games. Tyke Smith missed games. Zion McCullough missed games.
Well, and not only that, you don't have the horses to run, and that's on Jason Light.
Benjamin Morrison missed the whole training camp, preseason, everything.
Yep.
That stuff means stuff. Like people, what the hell is wrong with you guys? And you still were in the division race at 8-9.
They think because Todd Bowles was left with a Super Bowl roster that they're supposed to win a Super Bowl, and that's just not it. You had a Brady cap, you had an offensive line that wasn't good. You know, I go back to that year when everybody says that they were 8-9. They could have been 9-8, but they rested their start, and they get blown out by the Cowboys. Okay, but consider what happened that year. Did everybody forget that you lose Ryan Jensen? Did everybody forget you lose Ali Marpet to retirement?
Tom Brady was going through the whole thing with his wife.
You have all this going on with all those distractions, and it's all on Todd Bowles. It's not on Tom Brady. It's not on the offensive line. It's not on losing people to injury or to retirement. Well, that's injury. Other people around the league. Like, come on, bro. Like, seriously.
And people who say winning a division title isn't anything. Okay, I'll tell you what. Ask the Jets. When's the last time they won a division title?
Ask them.
Ask Miami or Cleveland Browns,
right?
Or the LA or the Vegas Raiders. Ask them when's the last time they won the division.
Ask the Dallas Cowboys at the NFC East, because the NFC East hasn't been great either. I mean, everybody just singling out the NFC South. And I get it; it's not one of the greatest divisions in the NFL, but there are other divisions out there that are not good. Okay, but they're not.
The thing about it is. You had 3 teams that were 8-9, and what was the Saints 6-10?
Mm-hmm.
6 something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
6-11.
How many divisions got 4 and 5 win teams?
I mean, AFC,
nobody bashing Cincinnati. Oh, Cincinnati won 6 games.
Yes.
I don't care if Joe Burrow was there or not. Flacco played good for them a couple games.
A couple games. Yeah, crazy, right?
I mean. Listen, as a Bucs fan, I will never give up on the Bucs fan and on my Buccaneers. And that whole Harbaugh thing, he'd be a nice coach, but I don't want to lose Jason Light as a GM.
AFC North, Pittsburgh 10-7, Baltimore 8-9, Cincinnati 6-11, Cleveland 5-12. That's a good division. All right, let's go to AFC South. 3-14, Tennessee, Indianapolis 8-9, Texans 12-5, Jacksonville 13-4.
Speaking of Indianapolis, didn't they start the season 8-1?
Yeah, they did. Yes, and they didn't fire their coach.
Where are they at?
Right, they didn't fire their coach
because guess what? They lost one player, their quarterback.
Yes,
that's it.
Yep.
And we had multiple
injuries.
Baker hasn't been healthy, I think, since the Seattle game.
I don't think he was healthy for the San Francisco game. I think that's when it started to creep up.
Yeah.
So, but again, is it one of the worst divisions in all of football? Yeah. I mean, look at the standings. Carolina 8-9, Bucs 8-9, Falcons 8-9, Saints 4-11. Again, it's just it is the National Football League. It goes in cycles.
The NFC East is no better.
I mean, what was the NFC East? You have Philadelphia 11-6, Cowboys 7-9, Washington 5-12, Giants are 4-13. Why does anybody talk about that division as being one of the worst in football?
Exactly.
Nobody will talk about that.
The Eagles barely won that division.
Doesn't fit the damn narrative. And the Eagles are not that great. I don't care if they had 11 wins. They're not that great. They're not.
No.
They're not.
No.
They're not that great. They beat the Bucs, but they're not that great. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, come on. This is the Broncos' first time winning the division since what? They won the Super Bowl?
I mean, again, you look at that division, right? So what is it? AFC West here. You have, let's see, Denver 14-3, Chargers 11-6, Kansas City 6-11, Raiders 3-14. 2 teams out of that division that are any good.
Exactly. And guess what? There's been people don't remember the year the Bucs went 10-6 with Josh Freeman. We didn't even make the playoffs.
That's correct.
We wasn't even good. That wasn't even good enough for a wild card.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I mean, every season is different. People need to stop. Excuse my French. Stop being assholes. And guess what? We're lucky to even have a team that was even competing for the division for the last multiple years in a row. Because some people haven't competed for divisions in a very long time.
A very long time. You're absolutely right. Curtis, appreciate the call as always, my friend.
Always, brother.
All right, man. Let's keep on reading comments and then we'll get out of here for the night. Let's see. Rob says continuity is what winning organizations do. Correct. There it is. It's getting tore down. It's not getting tore down. Got to make trades sometimes. Absolutely. Got to replace David. Jeff says the Bucs have to spend money. Agree. Fact says Alexander. Earl Harris III. Hot garbage everywhere. Not ready to say it's hot garbage everywhere. Tampa getting a big name pass rusher like Crosby just isn't our identity. Shaq Barrett is as big as we splashed at that position in a while. You got him in free agency, but maybe it's time to do something different. That's what I'm talking about. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Can't keep on doing the same thing over and over again and expect the same results or different results. You got to do something different. If we get a stud pass rusher linebacker, Bulls will still find a way to screw it up. Bella says money reasons make sense, but new OC in DC, Todd overseeing. David, on JP show the other day, he said that Todd Bowles did have his hands on the drafting of the defense. May have. Earl laughing. Bell, I'm sorry. I agree with only his coaching is too inconsistent. He's had his time. I'm not saying he's a bad person, but he just had his time. So just stay mediocre because too scared to change coaches. This team did get worse with all the weapons back. They didn't play well. I agree with you on that. If Bowles was the defensive coordinator for this team, he would have been fired. David says 49ers have a lot of injuries to their offense, defense. Where are they at? I agree. Kyle Shanahan's done a hell of a job. Special teams coach should go. I agree with that. Thomas says, I just can't stand Bowles' energy. It sucks. I honestly don't know how the defense can get hyped up to play for that man. Carl says, do you think Evans will come back? Yes. Bella Bell, I have no problem saying he's not a good OC. He doesn't think outside the box unless his hands were tied and he has to go. Alexander, Raheem Morris got took out by the Bucs and the Aints twice. Earl Harris III, injuries are an excuse. Niners had a lot of injuries too. Excuses are acceptable reason for failure. Ron, Bucs, fantastic. McCleary, the Marine. How about all the NFL teams who are injuries but had better coaching and achieved better records? It's a great point. I mean, you can't really go. Did they have the major injuries like the Bucs did? Did they have injuries to their entire offensive line? Did they have injuries to their entire wide receiving core? I know San Francisco had some injuries. They lost Nick Bosa. They lost a couple players there. Fred Warner comes to mind. They have major injuries all year long. But again, hats off to Kyle Shanahan. Did a hell of a job coaching them up. Would you rather have Bowles, Canales, or Cohen? At this point, Cohen is gone. He's in Jacksonville. Canales is gone. He's in Carolina. You've got Todd Bowles. He's your coach. Earl says, I blame Bruce Arians for the hot garbage mess. Well, then you got to give him credit because Bruce Arians won a Super Bowl, right? I mean, I don't know who to blame when that situation happened when the job was given to Todd and BA walked away. Isn't that purgatory? And now that Bowles is back, let's see how many changes to his staff he actually makes. We also have to see what coordinators will come here, knowing there's no guarantee Bowles and even Light will be back after 2026. Light, in my opinion, has to do something big on the defensive side of the ball, whether it's free agency or the draft. Scott, we're in purgatory now on our way to hell. Jim says, to me, the thing that confuses things is Kyle Shanahan, the 49ers. They seem to do it despite injuries, though pure coaching genius. Bella Bell, I do stand behind the team. I'm sorry I don't agree with you. I care a lot about the team, but it doesn't seem like the top people in the organization do it all. They do. They care. Thomas Ferguson, I'd rather have Canales or Cohen, 100%. I'm good with the pushback. Mike says, Greek is on a big soapbox. Zach says, don't forget about Cokeep. Earl, excuses from a Bears fan. Alexander, BA is a coach that has been a proponent. We read that. Thank you very much for that comment. Grizzard is way over his head. Bella Bell, coaching made Mecca regress. OC Griswold, Grizzard, Griswold. He got phased out once Godwin McMillan came back. We just have so many weapons that it's clear this team is ready for a post-Mike Evans era. Nissan says he went away from the play action. Baker's strong point. Scott, I'm hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. David, from what I'm hearing, it's a lack of practice and too many days off, too many walkthroughs. As Peter Report says, you have practice. Let's go out to that comment, and then we'll get back to the comments. This is what Yaya Diaby said in care of our friends at Peter Report. Yeah, we had more walkthroughs this year than any other year. I'm not going to lie. I'm a straightforward guy. That's one of the things I don't want to talk to Coach That's one of the things I do want to talk to Coach Bowles about, especially with me possibly being a captain next year. Just letting him know that has to change. We need to prepare the right way. We have to prepare to win. I know injuries are a big thing in this league, but being ready for the game is just as important as anything else. Me, I love practice. The whole year, the practices that we have, we actually run through. I take it super serious. His point is to have mental reps, and I understand the mental reps, but at the same time, football is a physical game. You have to be in it. You can't just walk through everything. I feel like that's the next step, especially with me being here 3 years and seeing what we've done good and what we've done bad. That's the next step. He also has this to say. The scheme, it's a lot for certain guys. I feel like it's a lot for you, and this is your job. You shouldn't be here. It's not going to be easy everywhere you go, and Coach Bowles put us in position to be successful. And if you're not bought into it, like I said, you shouldn't be here. Damning comments, whether it's the walkthrough, which you can understand it because of the injury situation. Sometimes they had so many injuries you couldn't do a full practice. So again, you have to work on being healthier. Again, that's a part of the game. So the walkthroughs didn't help. But according to him, there are some players on this team that did not buy in and did not understand the scheme. That's the evaluation process where you have to get rid of those players that didn't buy in. And if they didn't buy in, it will be all revealed on tape. That's what the evaluation process is for. Thank you, David, for that. Let's see. Agree, Peter, Mike Tomlin's best choice over Harbaugh. By far, agree. The linebacker position was a problem. Who knew the guard position would be our kryptonite? King, this is Glazers accepting mediocrity. Alexander, it makes sense. Earl, more walkthroughs next season. He's on the hot seat. Bella Bell, you guys cannot ignore the Glazers are upsetting their organization in England as well with Manchester. They've always been upset there in England. Dead man walking next season. Glazers. Roger says, what do you think we should take at the 15th pick? Who should we sign in free agency? I kind of put that out there. Trey Hendrickson in free agency or trade for Max Crosby. 15th pick, most likely Sonny Styles out of Ohio State are the best linebacker on the board. Unless you trade that first round pick, then you have to make other plans, if you will. He had happy feet. Mike COC mechanics went to crap. Agree. Didn't even do the checkdowns consistently. Thomas, somebody had to say it. Baker was a turnover like an Apple turnover. He had a ton of mistakes down the stretch of games, but I will say this. Thomas says, I miss those playbooks. Play action deep ball with so many with those offensive coordinators. How can we say Todd can only coach the players on defense that he's given, but we can say the same thing about our new offensive coordinator? I've said the same thing about the offensive coordinator, that he can only coach the players that you're given, and maybe it's not fair, but he's not most likely going to be here. He's going to be the guy that's going to be the fall guy for it. Whatever, says Earl. Special teams coordinator has to be fired. Defense needs a coordinator. Todd needs to manage. Bella Bell. Regardless, as you know, I love you guys. The league is changing. The players are becoming different, and the coaching have to do the same. Change is needed. David, that's what makes me pissed off. Our offensive coordinator is going to go down, be the fault of this season when our defense is the one we all know let us down. I think the offense let you down too. I think that the offense definitely let you down because you didn't score enough points. Whether you had the injury situation or not, when you got healthy, you didn't score enough points. I think he needs another season. Scott says elaborate on changing. Thomas says Saints aren't looking bad either. Looks like they found their rookie quarterback. We weren't able to gel. David says also on JP's show the other day, he said, if you don't think that Todd didn't have his hands on the offense, then you're crazy. I think he definitely had some hands on the offense, changing by recognizing that players' minds are adapting, coming into the game, knowing more, trying to shift their minds with the old and young views. Alexander, I totally agree with Harry. What's good, Peter and Harry? Salute, OGs. Thank you, King Cook. Appreciate you, Bella Bell. developing players based upon the players a good coach would know that, and then they would connect it as a team. There would be evidence in the practicing. Alexander got to keep White. Bella says that's my opinion on it. King Cook, Bowles is back, baby. Laugh out loud. Thomas is with arms crossed and pouty face with no emotion to give the players energy. Zach says, ha, here it goes. Scott, but this year will be different. Laugh out loud. Alexander, come on, we can get better. We don't have to have the Barrett or JPP prime. Let the story unfold. You're going to say it wasn't the right choice. Alexander 10-6 didn't either for us. I answered that question already. Mike D. Roche's, you have the playoffs in Canada at 8-9. David says Todd's been winning off of Bruce's team. Bruce's team is starting to get old. Earl, low expectations is pitiful. Come on, I've seen a lot of Buccaneer football and sat through it at Ray J. I think we need to get behind the staff as a real fan. I like that. Running back with the same hot garbage coaching staff, go Bucs. It's not going to happen. They're going to definitely make changes, Earl. I want to know how Bucs Basement fixes this. Let's go out to Nissan. Facts. Tampa Bay. Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate you. Facts. If that's the case, stop selling your friggin' ticket. Ed says, can I call in, please? He did before. Thank you for all the calls, Ed. If there are any Bucs fans willing to sell those tickets for cheap because they are pissed because Bowles is back, holler at King Cook. Laugh out loud. Can Don hold on now, gentlemen? Saying you do not support this coach is not saying you don't support the team. Banning a change by demanding does not mean you're not a Bucs fan. Nissan says, screw it, bring in Eric Bieniemy. It happens in LA too. Look at the Rams games or even the Chargers. True. Ricky Robinson, Bay. Alexander, Facts, Harry. Scott, start from scratch, slowly gut the team, rebuild. The right coach will turn it around, start showing success by year 2 or 3. Again, Scott, I don't think you're patient enough. I don't think the Bucs fans are patient enough for that. I'm sorry, I don't. And I think they don't need to tear it all down. You've got the pieces here. You've got yourself a franchise quarterback. You've got some defensive players on this team. You don't have to tear it all down. Everything's not about tearing it down all the time. Why do Bucs fans want to tear it down all the time? Just want to tear it down. Fire people, tear it down. Chaos, chaos, chaos. Do it again. Rinse and repeat. Keep on doing it 2 or 3 years in a row. Over and over again until you get what? What do you get? You get fired coaches. You get different systems. You get different players. You get nothing in return. You get nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. You do it over and over again. You tear it down. Like, what are we doing? Tear it down. Tear it down. Tear it down. Tear it down. What are you tearing down? There's nothing to tear down. Why are you tearing it down? You've got the players here. You got the talent here. I definitely think you still got the coaches here. And I think you got the great general manager in Jason Light, who's shown you can build the team or retool the team. I hate when people say you're not a real Bucs fan because you have a different opinion. I didn't say that. Peter's right about the Falcons. Crap owners are the problem in Atlanta. Harry, you want a home game in the playoffs? Win the dang division. That's it. The Atlanta Falcons are about as stable as the plywood that author blank used to sell at Home Depot. Seriously. And if they fire their coach in the next 2 or 3 years, you'll see what I'm talking about, no matter who they bring in. John here is trash. 3-time MVP. Tom says Harold, the Cubs fan. John Harbaugh has won a Super Bowl. He beat his brother. That is correct. Exactly. John is mega trash. More excuses for Todd Bowles. You all are on something else. Tampa preaching. 2012. Yes, that is correct. He's a regular season coach. Alexander is laughing. John Harbaugh would be a great coach to interview for us ever. Worthless in the playoffs. 9 points to be exact. Correct. Go Bucs. Absolutely. Go Bucs.
Wait up, Will. Wait up.
Go Bucs.
Fire the cannon.
Go Bucs. Nissan. Let's see here. Good stuff there. Alexander. Harbaugh got blown out 6 times this year. Cole, as I find, is not working here. There you go. Harbaugh is a big picture guy. He's a culture guy. Are you all honestly that Bowles is a better coach than Harbaugh? Let me go on to Eric. Eric, welcome to the Evolution. Todd Bowles is back for 2026. Your thoughts?
Bring the passion, bring the excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense.
Yes, sir. Go for it.
I just heard a report that the Glazers reached out to Harbaugh, but Harbaugh wanted his own GM, so they stuck with Light, which I think that's the right decision.
I think it's the right decision too, right?
Yeah. Gotta keep continuity. Would you give up 2 first rounds for Max Crosby, Peter?
I would definitely do that. Yes.
But that's not like Fort State,
Well, maybe you need to change. Maybe you need to change what you're doing a little bit here. Maybe you need to take some chances here. Go out and get somebody that's going to make an impact, right?
And David Walker, he missed the whole season. I think he can be good. 7-8 sacks, maybe.
You said you think he'll be good, but we don't know if he's going to be good at this point. So why even take a chance, right?
Hey, if you go after a guy like that, and you don't make the playoffs till
is going on with my stuff here. Wow. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, do you think there's any way David doesn't retire?
It's a great question. I don't know. I think he's done. I think everything you've seen there on last Sunday, he's done. I think he's done at this point. I do. Yeah.
Mike Evans, 2-year deal.
I think Mike is back.
You think the Bucs will bring in maybe Breece Hall?
I don't know. I don't think they really need a running back at this point. You have Sean Tucker. Rashad White's out there as a free agent. Looks like he's going to leave. But you have Sean Tucker as a restricted free agent. You probably pick him back up again. You hope that Bucky Irving can stay healthy. You hope that the line can get healthy. I don't think you really need to go out running back. Not a big like what they have with Tucker. I like what they have with Bucky Irving. Stuff is going crazy right now. I don't know why it keeps on cutting.
How about Josh Williams? I know he got cut and they signed back to the practice squad. They like him.
We'll see. But I think they're going to go with the primary ball carriers, to answer your question, are going to be Tucker and Bucky Irving. That's what was missing out of your offense too. Remember, Bucky Irving, right? How many games did Bucky Irving miss from that offense last year? 7 games. That hurt.
Yeah,
that hurt your offense. That was the difference too.
He can, he can catch the ball in the backfield. He can make people miss.
Yep.
But I think that he was on fire before he got hurt. He had over 100 yards or scrimmage yards per game.
Yeah, that was a shame. He got hurt, and then it kind of changed your offense all around the place. All right, man. Thanks a lot for the call. Anything else here, Eric?
You think the Rays will do anything this year?
I don't know, man. I haven't even looked into it yet. They haven't really made any moves, traded for a lot of prospects. I'm not sure what they're going to do. You know me, I'm the eternal optimist, but we'll see. We're about a month and a half away from talking Rays baseball, so let me do a little bit of research on this. But
it's going to come quick.
It is. It's going to come quick. Yes, sir. Appreciate you as always, Eric. All right. So Lamar Jackson is 1-8 in the playoffs. If your quarterback can't get it done, you're not going to win the playoffs. And then furthermore, the game planning against the Kansas City Chiefs, a couple of years ago, you're running the ball with Derrick Henry, and you decide in that AFC Championship game that you're going to pass the ball with Lamar Jackson 25 times. Are you going to criticize him for that coaching decision because he was behind that? So again, every coach is not perfect. Vita, great picks. Right, 1-8. Thomas, now we are talking regular season quarterback. I live in Baltimore. I know firsthand. Earl says another 8-9 season with the awesome next offseason. Spend the bag. Let's see. He drafted Mike Evans. Let's go up to Matthew. Cansey is not a dog. He's not a dong. But I definitely know he's not a dong. He's a dog. He's been injured every year. He's been here. He's got T-Rex arms. Chris Thomas, didn't hold up this year. Let's go out to Earl Harris III. Bulls ain't firing nobody. He's going to get rid of some people. Shaq Barrett was a one-hit wonder. The guy never got 10 sacks before and after his 19.5 sack season, but he was still a big part of that Super Bowl defense, was he not? Vita, Cansey, Winfield, Evans, Godwin, Wirfs, come now, studs. Don, when do the Bucs pick up Cansey's fifth-year option? Great question. I believe that's coming up here in next year. I don't think it's coming up this year. Mike Flores, loved the passing league right there. Jason's never drafted a 10-sack guy ever. He's had one Pro Bowl linebacker they just drafted. He's drafted one Pro Bowler defensive tackle, one Pro Bowler safety. He's terrible on defense. Ed says, oh, my God, is it really? At first, I could not actually get through. King Cook, go trade for Max Crosby. That's the first real step in the rebuild. Thank God they're coming with their own GM. Ours has the worst record than Todd Bowles. Earl Harris, Bowles is stubborn. Same crap next season. Laugh out loud. Bowles has been here 7 years. This system is exposed. That's why you change it. Cansey missed more games this season than his first 2 years combined. Daylight. Niners did. Every team has injuries. Agree. You guys act like the Bucs are the only team with injuries. Didn't say they were the only team with injuries, but they had a lot of injuries, not just to their wide receiving core, but to their main parts of their team, which would be their offensive line. So, Peter, you have no faith in this organization that they can bring in somebody who's good or better than Jason or Todd. No, that's not what I said. I said that I think that what they're saying is they don't want to bring in you just want to change the coach. I mean, that's it. It don't matter if Todd Bowles went 17-0. You still wouldn't like them. So I'm not about changing coaches over and over again. I'm just not about that. Do I have faith in them? Yeah, I have faith in them, but obviously they have more faith in going with what they have at this point and seeing that they can retool it. Now, if it doesn't work out, then you can go ahead and make those changes. But I don't have any faith in the fan base. I just don't. Like, if you're getting upset about an 8 or 9 win team or 10 win team winning a division, I have no faith that you can wait or have patience in the next 2 or 3 years for a rebuild. It ain't happening overnight. I'm sorry. It don't happen like that. What's going on with Chicago right now, what's going on with Jacksonville right now, what's going on with New England is an anomaly. It doesn't happen. It takes some time. You're changing systems, you're changing coaches, you're changing general managers, you're changing quarterbacks. Some of you out there don't even want Baker Mayfield. You want to draft a rookie quarterback again. You want to go down that road. Jesus. It's going to be a kick in the dong to the Glazers to see Cohen turn Jacksonville around, and that energy Liam is what we need so badly. Bowles needs to step his game up. He's not a head coach. Todd Bowles lost the locker room. We have 2 separate losing streaks in the same season. The culture was what? Not Bowles. Nissan says, I would have loved to have Todd Monken, or however you spell it. Yes, it's Todd Monken. David says, I like Pewter Report wrote an article saying a lot of players have a problem with Todd. If they have a problem with Todd, they don't need to be on the team. They're not buying into Todd Bowles and this coaching staff. They don't need to be here. That's what it comes down to. They have a problem. What's going on? Then that is the problem. This is what Yaya Diaby is talking about. These players are not buying in. If they're not buying into Todd Bowles, go somewhere else. Here's another one. Jamel Dean and Kara Pewter Report. You have to be honest with yourself. Sometimes people understand the game plan going in during practice, but when the bullets start flying, you realize you weren't as prepared as you thought you were. Shocking. It's coming from him because it seems like he's never prepared. He's always out of position. He's always falling down. And that's the reason why they cut his salary in the first place. That's the reason why he probably won't be with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's so inconsistent. He's telling you, not as prepared. Is that on coaching? Yeah, but also they're athletes. They're $1 million athletes, okay? They got to take some responsibility too. You got to want it. Do you want it? Do you want to be an NFL player, or do you just want to be whatever? Like, that's, and for me, like, the fan base, that's where the fan base lacks for me. That's where it lacks. Like, it's always on coaching. Like, it's never on players. There's players at home take no accountability at all. Like, $1 million athletes. We're not talking about college athletes. We're talking about professional professionals. Do what you need to do to prepare. I come on this show and I don't prepare and I look like an idiot. You're able to call me out. I'm able to take that and deal with it. I'm going to be prepared for it. That's a personal responsibility on yourself. How good do you want to be? How great do you want to be? Another boring and frustrating season for 2026 if Todd is still the guy. Dude has been riding the coattails of the other coaches for years. The game has passed him by, and the defense is no longer his expertise in this offensive NFL we play in. I don't know what that is. Let's see. The culture was for Levante, not for Bowles. Trust who? King Cook. Word is not all on Bowles. Light shares 50% of the blame. Build a better team. Build better depth. Light. Hope you're going to be a defensive-minded coach. Have one of the worst defenses ever. Darius, bring Raheem Morrison as a defensive coordinator. Most definitely will work. If need be, see if Gruden wants to be an offensive coordinator. I don't think that's going to happen, but possibly Raheem Morris. We'll see. Bulls has got to make his defense easier for guys to understand. Agree. You got to simplify it. I'm going to put this out there tomorrow. Like, I think this is absolutely beneficial to everybody. Like, I'm putting this interview out tomorrow with Dwight Smith. I put it out there already. I'm going to cut it up and let him tell you how difficult it was to understand the Tampa 2 defense because he didn't have the experience. Do you think there's a possibility that some of these defensive players didn't play this defense in college? So maybe that's the reason why they struggle. Maybe guys that are used to playing man can't play zone. They're in the wrong position because they don't know how to play it. Again, is that on coaching? Yes. But is it also on the player? Yes, it is. It's on the player. We should not trade for a player on another team now. Ship has sailed. We might as well trade up in the draft, get our own guy. It's literally going to just be expensive. Let's go out to Earl. Todd Bowles' defense play calling is stale. Scheme is predictable. 21, I think, laugh out loud. Look at the 49ers, no excuse. I heard the 49ers excuse. I understand where you're coming from, Eric. I'm sorry about your luck. Todd Bowles is your coach. Enjoy it. Keep on with the injuries excuse. We'll talk about it. Injuries were the reason we weren't always in soft coverage. Detroit's entire damn starting secondary was out against us, and we looked like crap thanks to Baker. Build better depth on the team. Chris Cole, haven't drafted above 19 in 5 years. Boom, there it is right there. Haven't drafted above 19 in 5 years. So you don't always have the opportunity to get the best talent, right? Kind of a crapshoot. Niners said, we don't make excuses. I heard about the Niners. Anybody else want to talk about the Niners? Baker was definitely seeing ghost up the middle, plus not being healthy didn't help. Thomas, what about Todd? Can he just have some damn energy? It's awful. Well, he has some energy on this.
It's exciting!
And just having some energy on that.
We got the job, baby!
And there you go, right there. There's your energy. Winning teams don't get good draft picks yet. They stay winning teams for years. Bucs fans are forgetting the Lovey, Cutter, Shiano, Raheem errors. We're all fine. This isn't bad at all. That's what I'm saying. Dave, can't see to me is another Noah Spence. Come on. Noah Spence? Caller. 49ers were in worse shape than us in regards to health, but they have a real coach, so they're still in it. We got worse as we got healthier. Danny, we had a lot of injuries last year. We won 10 games. Facts. Darius, Todd Bowles and his coaching staff versus Jason Light's defensive roster construction. Who wins? We'll see. Dean's words were a joke. Shaking my head. Yes, I agree. After watching 49ers overcoming all those injuries, you can't blame injuries because all teams deal with it. The team lost their confidence. It snowballed to the point they couldn't get it back. I think it's a good comment. Also, I want Bucs fans to remember here when you tout the 49 and you say the Bucs are playing in the worst division. Okay, I'll give you that. And they play the Panthers and the Falcons and the Saints. I'll give you that. But didn't this team beat Seattle in Seattle? That was the number 1 seed. Then they beat San Francisco. Then they beat Houston. They could beat some good teams. They beat some good teams on that schedule. That's the most disappointing aspect of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They can beat some good teams. We know they can beat some good teams. But how did it snowball out of control? Sometimes it's like that. Walkthrough practice will be an all-time high next season. Come on, Earl. It would be a tie. Alexander Reddick committed bank fraud with the Bucs. Agree with that. From what some fans are saying, Atlanta must really have different ideas when we do, because they just fired a coach that won a Super Bowl 4 years ago, not 5, as a defensive coordinator. They fired a coach that won 4 in a row. And whether that's right or not, they fired their general manager. I guess that's what you want to be. You want to fire your coach, fire your general manager. I mean, it may work for him, it may not work for him. It hasn't worked for him. When did they won a Super Bowl? When did they win a Super Bowl, David? When did the Atlanta Falcons win a Super Bowl? Let me know. We didn't get our field goal blocked against the Eagles. We would have won that game. He carried the team the first part of the season, then played terrible for 2 months. Danny, Baker didn't have a chance to be himself when we run every single down. Another year. We need TJ. Move Bowles back to defensive coordinator, get an actual leader at head coach. I could be wrong, but did Brady throw more interceptions the last 2 years here than Baker did in the last 2 years? Nobody was bitching about his interceptions. Rob, Peter, I did not see a link tonight. Next week, we will have you on, Mr. Shooter there of We the Thunder. We want to talk Lightning hockey tonight, but I wanted to give you the full opportunity to talk Bucs football and vent and say what you wanted to say. They won 4 last-minute games to start the season. They should have, could have won, lost. All those games could have went the other way. What if they did? Would Todd still be here? Great point. But they did. They were able to win it. They found ways to win. They also found ways to lose at the end of it. All we did at the end of the year was run, screen passes, then get upset when Baker throws an interception on 3rd and 17. We need more from Baker, get another quarterback and come in here and challenge him. The turnovers were too much to overcome. No one talks about this with Baker. There's always blaming injuries. Listen, you can't have those critical turnovers. We talked about it. No matter how talented of a quarterback you are, especially when you have a defense that struggled, especially when you don't necessarily have the talent, you can't overcome. You've always got to win the turnover battle when it comes to this Buccaneer team, any team, whatever league it is. And free agency, get the best linebacker we can get a veteran corner, one that will show them how to be pros, still be good enough to where he can talk to them and still listen. Mike D. Roche's. I laugh at Todd Bowles calls the show and swore like a mother effer. Like to hear that, right? Get Raheem back in the building. We'll get back to the Youngry era. Big board, evening, gents. Evening to you. Happy birthday, brother. What's the number so I can call? The number is 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Soft coverage, crappy tackling is why we lost so many games. Definitely point to that. Bring everybody back. Laugh out loud. How many times have I gotten kicked? The voicemail, Ed, sorry about that. It has been a busy night here, so I'll try to get to all the Bucs callers as I can. Get depth on the offensive line, then go into the draft. Defense heavy draft. Very defensive, especially linebacker, edge rusher. We need another safety, more hog mollies, and a receiver. I like that. Alexander says you got to play your players. He did on 3rd down last year. Peter, call me. Earl, I see the special teams coordinator still have a job. He most likely won't. Honestly, what player wouldn't love Todd all those days off, still get paid? That's the best boss ever. Danny Grizzard looks like a high school football coach. Run, 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 punt. Zach, the Glazers are unpredictable. I remember when John Gruden had a season-ending press conference, he was told he would be back and still got fired like 2 or 3 weeks later. True, but I told the story about that. Todd's defense cannot work without a good linebacker, at least an edge rusher that can get 10 or more sacks. Agree with that. Scott, you got to find an OC that's okay with coming to a team with a lame duck coach. That's why we drafted linebackers so high with Arians. Earl, Mike Evans might not come back with a hot garbage offensive coordinator. Alexander, Vontae can be there on the bench. I would like to see him break the record. Levante, that's true. Guess offensive coordinator is 1 bad year. Let's get rid of him, but let's get the defensive guy. Scott, what will you say if they're not aggressive in free agency? I would be very disappointed. I would say I would be very, very disappointed because I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to be aggressive in free agency. You're going to have to be aggressive in free agency. Going to the beach on Sundays, that is your choice. Everyone, Shadow is here from South Dakota. Pretty much any of the current players have any trade value. Do we need ammo? If they want too much money, let them walk. Hardly anyone earned this money this year, either side of the ball. Nissan, says Jeremy. Hello. Florida man, we all had that. It's over. Thomas, when's the last time we had a special teams big play? Agree. Bantry, not believing anything until I see the official release from the Glazers. Fair enough. Todd showed a text from the Glazers saying he's staying. Earl Harris III, thank you, Mike Evans, for being a true warrior, future Hall of Famer. Leave the sinking ship. Injuries did us wrong. Earl, special teams coordinator, still is employed. I'm not believing anything until the Glazers, Light, and Bulls have their press conference or make an official statement. John, with his new GM, Wicket 12 wins and went to fix the defense in 1 to 2 years tops. George, what if Gruden comes to as an offensive coordinator? Yep, keep everybody be average. Would fix. Earl says Jason Light ain't trading no picks. Who you fooling? Ed says they need to re-sign Mike Evans. We never swung that high for a defensive player in free agency that I can remember. Maybe it's time to do that. No to Hendrickson not liking his recent injury history. Mike Evans ain't coming back here. I bet you he will. Don't trade for another player or another team. That ship has sailed. We could have gotten a 28-year-old Micah Parsons and didn't. By the way, he's hurt. I know he made an impact, but he's hurt already. I don't know how good he's going to be after he gets back from the injury. Why? David says, to me, it's many days of lack of practice. Possible. Todd Bowles is allergic to making adjustments. If you're going to spend around the same amount of draft picks, stop making a trade, get your own guy. Bella Bell, this caller is very accurate. It's probably less we're a top 15 pick. Thomas, we were elite when we threw the ball down the field, but second half of the year, Baker kept double clutching and trying to run. Give me Darnold and the New York vibes. That gave me Darnold. Okay. Coach like he didn't trust his own players. That's not good coaching. Mopar Buck, we have a pattern of midseason losses. However, Jason Light needs to get his act together on the defensive side of the ball. It's really not hard to get talent staring in your face instead of these surprise selections on draft night. Just get the damn guy. We don't care about character issues. Draft the damn guy. Let's go out to 2 separate losing streaks. One, which was more than 4 games, came in the back half of the season. The weakest part of our schedule where they were fighting for his job and lost the locker room. Mike Evans is going to Houston. We are generally good on first and second down on defense, but we all know when it comes to third down, he's going to play a soft zone with the corners. 10 yards off the ball as linebackers fall into coverage, leaving the middle wide effing open 100%. Because we are so garbage in our own division, our destiny wasn't in our hands. Ed says Mike isn't going anywhere. Earl Harris to be good fit in Denver, then slide Sutton to the number 2 spot. I'm definitely supporting the Bucs regardless. I've been through much worse than Bulls era. Laugh out loud. Go Bucs. Go Bucs.
Fire the cannon!
Here he is right in front 7. Needs a lot of work. Mopar says Sonny Styles will be a Buck. I like that. Former Browns fan saw this all before. Run it back with Hugh Jackson 3 years in a row. Chase a difference maker in free agency. Watson give up picks, money, lose the future, and their fans. Too many old farts on the defensive staff. Earl is laughing about that. Zach, Winfield Jr. is too small to be a safety, in my opinion. I think he's good. But who is he scaring? He ain't going to lay the lick on nobody. Frank, thank you very much. I think that was Frank there. Laugh out loud. Frank Ammons, I remember you. Trapped gas and the Cannons. He didn't play up to that new contract. Earl, Todd Bowles ain't giving up play calling. Mopar, how about just run a damn 4-3? Laugh out loud. The issue is the underside player for his 3-4 scheme is not that hard. Ed says, hurry control because his team is in the playoffs and the Bucs aren't. Both edge and linebacker. I'll never stop supporting the Bucs. This team is still salvageable, even with the current staff and front office. Agree. Slide Zion to safety, bring Winfield back to the box, play Parrish outside. Tucker really started to piss me off in fantasy football. Bucky was not even consideration with the red zone. He was not. DBs we need. David says, oh, we're going to miss White whenever we start getting blitzed, and Bucky gets blown up as usual. Bowles is not giving up defensive play calling. I can't see it. Ed says, Harry control because the Bucs are not in the playoffs and the Bears are. Ed, again, don't bring Harry back on the show until his Bears are eliminated from the playoffs. That guy sucks. Laugh out loud. Let's not go political. Eliminated. Good night, Harry. First round, linebacker edge. Second round, linebacker edge, DL. Third round, DL, OL. Secondary, do what you want from there. We need to upgrade bad because Atlanta and Carolina are right there. I'm scared of Atlanta. They got a good GM, a good head coach. They have talent over there. True. Atlanta. God, get me out of this nursing home. Okay, edge rusher is a must. Linebackers next in line. Evans needs to make a decision if he's retiring, then big wide receiver in late rounds of the draft. If I'm betting man, I would put money on Carolina on the money line. David says if it's raining, I think the Panthers have a chance to beat the Rams. Rams definitely getting revenge on Carolina. It's going to be great. James Pierce Jr. is an animal. Literally got 3 sacks against the Saints, 10.5 on the year. King Cook, Kitty Cats ain't doing nothing against the Rams. Stop it. The NFC is winning the Super Bowl. The Rams are the top upper echelon in the NFC. Let's see. Just imagine having James Pierce Jr. type of player in the playoffs, the man who is only getting better throughout the season. I give John Harbaugh the world. We should have already did it, Jay, but whatever. Let's not miss out. Give him whatever he wants. Give him the world. King Cook, too many demands versus not enough demands. Thomas, great call there. John Harbaugh has the greatest resume out of any coach we've ever interviewed here. Top tier coaching talent, you have to give them the world. Look at Liam Cohen. The Jags gave him the world. He didn't like their GM. They fired him. Let him have his pick. Look at the Fisher years ago. They gave him the world because he was a hot commodity in the NFL. And that time, even though he's trash, but they gave him the world. Didn't work out. Bella Bell, Peter, you know you're my boy. I love you, but stability, what they're doing is very unstable, is it not? I don't know about that. Freeman, Blunt, Williams, mini era. Zach Mitchell, it's a money issue, Pete. Man, you let someone go and they have to pay him $12 million. They didn't want to part ways with Todd Bowles and have to pay an additional $12 million when you part ways with him. Good point. Only owe Todd like 2 years, only makes like $6 million a year. They're billionaires. David, good did they do when they fired Tony Dungy? How good did they do when they fired Cutter? Well, they fired Tony Dungy the first year with John Gruden. They won a Super Bowl. What did they do after that? And then what did they do with Dirk Cutter? And what did they do with Raheem Morris? Alex, exactly. Here, because the Glazers make a mistake. The absurd contract that wasn't deserved. Our team from ownership on down doesn't pull the trigger. Malcolm is rolling over in his grave right now. King Cook, first order business team-wise is to go get Crosby. David says, and to Smith and Cutter's defense during that time, the Glazers did not want to spend any money. I would love that 28 years old. You didn't get Micah by love, Max Crosby, but I'm at the point the ship has sailed. Might as well draft a guy. Might be cheaper. We have a top 15 pick. Draft pick won't have the salary that's anywhere near as high as Max will be. Wayne, need help on both sides of the ball. By the way, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. Thank you very much for that. They'll play on our team for way longer as well, but it does have way more risk to it. King Cook, Max is an immediate guy who can help Walker along. That's 15. We got a linebacker who can make an impact right away. A lot of great running backs we have to cover in our division. Zach, offer Raheem Morris a good defensive coordinator contract. Only defensive coordinator, not a promotion to head coach. Max is going to eat up a lot of picks and high salary, though. I would love that, even if we did make even Yaya better. Exactly. If we trade up, get the best pass rusher in the draft, he would like 22 years, 50-50 bust rate, but it's hits. Jason would finally be able to say, I drafted a 10-sack guy. Nakobe Dean, that's certainly a possibility as a linebacker and free agency. There you go. So if you trade that to those 2 first-round picks, you get into Nakobe Dean and free agency. We'll have someone like James Pierce Jr. scaring the division and conference for decades. We're going to tell a story about a guy named John Cooper who had some success, then had some issues. People were calling for him to get fired. He wasn't. He went on to win 2 cups and coach 1,000 games. And people, fans out there, Lightning fans, were calling for his job because the Lightning got swept in the first round. You can't make this up. Sometimes, fan base, you got to be a little bit patient. I understand it. I understand the emotion. I understand the passion, but you got to be patient. That's what kind of blows my mind. We want to keep Todd because of the defense expertise, but we don't want him calling plays no more, so why keep him? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome is a form of insanity. Bulls' record is 61-75, 1-3 in the playoffs. You are what your record is, less than mediocre. Let's see. Let's give Todd another year to see what he can do. Exactly. And like what you all said earlier, the culture here in Tampa has changed because of Todd, not for the good. So once again, why keep him? I don't think the culture is bad here. I think, again, you had one bad year. The culture has been good. That's the reason why you got the extension in the first place. We could get linebackers we need with 2nd or 3rd round pick. Maybe a 4th free agent linebacker is way easier to fix the pass rush and way cheaper. No Morris. Yes, every single time, twice on Sunday. Hell yeah, give whatever Max wants. It's going to be more than that. He's 28 years old. He'll throw Vita in that package. Don't know about that. He's going to be Micah Parsons' money and draft picks. Thomas says Godwin could trade bait with that crowded room. Chris Cole, don't forget we lost J.J. Roberts, David Walker, and Keith. David says we're going to have to go after Crosby because you can imagine Henderson 10 yards down the field trying to cover a running back or tight end. God forbid a wide receiver. Even Todd Bowles talked about changing the scheme, schematically changing it. We need to trade any of the guys' value right now to get the ammo we need. Jason needs to be like a demon escaping hell in free agency in the draft this year. Until now, what can they do as unknowns is all unknown. We have to keep trying to fix that position. David, do you think Yaya's here next year after what he said about Bowles? Yes, I do. It's time for Vita to go, not making any impact plays. I don't want to hear he's always double teamed. Zach, Max Crosby changes a lot. Zach, again, just can't have him in coverage. No to Trey. He's too old now. We need someone if we're going to spend that much money, and capital needs to be under 30. So Harbaugh wanted to bring in his own GM. That's why we passed on him, correct? David says, yeah, you can have Dennis. And like I said earlier this year, Peter, I was wrong about Dennis. That's okay. We were all wrong about Sebastian Dennis. Max is 28 years old, same tier as Micah Parsons. Going to be obscenely expensive. Yes, worth it. I would do it, but he's going to be Micah Parsons expensive more than likely. That's okay. That's why you let Liam walk too, I bet, because when Liam got to Jacksonville, first thing they did was fire the GM. Now the truth comes out. These guys don't grow on trees. I don't know what the heck we're doing. Thomas says, just tell Baker no more jump ball throws to Evans. I can't see that man getting full like a long chair again. Zach, it's football. That's going to happen, unfortunately. Ed, but we also scored 30 points on Buffalo. Didn't score enough. Been telling people Liam Cohen, John Harbaugh, they get what they want. They're premier sought-after head coaches when they have dang near every team wanting you. How about we tell our defense no more shoulder tackles and wrap up? I would have to show Jason the door. I'm sorry you had a chance to get a proven coach. Even Jeff Fisher got what he wanted because he was sought-after head coach that year. King Cook, I'll take Joey Bosa for sure. Solid rotation. I can't believe they did not get Harbaugh. Like, you got to rethink this. Keep Baker if he doesn't want too much. If he get a rookie, make them compete with Baker loses. We still need a backup quarterback. If he wins, the rookie sits and learns. Chris Cole, 3 more wins. Their number 2 seed. Bingo. Peace. Let's see. The Bucs defense made every quarterback look like an all-pro. The excuse making for Bowles is delusional. Ed says, I want Max. He's a beast. King Cook, you can be aggressive all you want, but if you're not choosing the right players, what does it really matter? They would still be bad no matter what our head coaching was. The talent is garbage. David, they say the defense wins championships, but how many games this year did our defense actually win the game for us? This year, maybe 2. We have the worst run 7 in the football. Yaya has 7.5 sacks and leads the team. I don't know why Google told me 4 sacks, so I apologize because I was saying 4 sacks. It's okay. The only way we're going to be able to afford to do what we want to do here is will and deal. We're going to have to unload talent as well because pass rusher is a premier position in the National Football League. Hold on, people say they don't want to reset the whole team or blow up the team. Doesn't everybody want a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new special teams coach? So the only person we aren't losing is blow up is the head coach. Top 5 premier pass rushers in the draft are 50-50. No matter who's picking, we should do it. Michael says the Glazers are actively damaging their own brand. I don't think they even realize how bad it's gotten. This shows just how disconnected they are from their fan base. Michael, the Glazers' decision to keep Todd Bowles feels driven by emotion, not logic. There's no analytical football reason to retain a mediocre head coach who's also running a poor defense. If they don't move Graham Barton, then the pick's a bust in my eyes. If they move him, it will salvage it. Again, I think he was hurt by, once again, both guards being out and reshuffling. Eric says, hope Mike Evans coming back this year. All 22 shows players are getting too open all year. That means offensive coordinator was doing his job. Players weren't executing. Playing with 3 rookies in the secondary and 2 practice squad guards most of the season. David, Peter, love your show. You still have one of the best shows out there. Keep doing what you're doing because it's working, brother. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys on Saturday. Watch every single game, all 22, both sides of the ball. They were getting open all the time. Baker's not seeing them. He's not going through his progressions. Eric, bring Reddick back. Not happening.
That's good enough to suck right there.
Not going to bring Hassan Reddick back. Please, Eric. Jay Retcher broke it down. Go check his show out. It was amazing. Jay does a great job. Another CSB brother right there. Baker leads the league in turnovers as well. You want him to throw the ball more? Are you serious? Are we still plus 9 turnover differential defense? Got 1.5 turnovers a game average. Wayne, I felt like we need to play like we're behind because we play better. We need a killer instinct. We were talking about this last year. Todd Bowles had these comments. Keep scoring no matter what the score is instead of just coasting after go ahead. We the Thunder, I like this caller. Go Bolts. How does anyone know that they're getting rid of Grizzard? Certainly seems like it's going to happen. Trade Vita. Try to trade Winfield Jr. Try to trade Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. It's a lot of trades there, my friend. God, Matthew, give it a rest. Why would you get rid of Grizzard if all 22 shows his players are not executing? We have a young coordinator growing into his own. We should keep them, especially if they're already keeping Todd. He's super young. Sure, Douglas, I'll do what you say. Anything else you want me to do? I love my opinion just like you do. I'm just saying your keyboard is going to burn out, Jesus. Facts, Peter Blake. Fans are forgetting about the Shiano, Cutter, Lovey eras. Laugh out loud. I never met or heard or heard God either say, I don't know if he's going to shut me up. You might have to do better than that. Nice comeback. Laugh out loud. My comeback is I'm going to shut up because some idiots are telling me to shut up, but giving my opinion using my many facts as possible, much data as possible. JG, you lose 8 of 9 games. You deserve to have a job. Who cares that he's a nice guy in the league of production? He didn't produce. Your opinion is trade everybody. For who? Go watch the Patriots. Matthew says, I'll just got shivers. King, I've been a Bucs fan since 94. I've seen so much losing. It's unbelievable. Broadway. Some of these people need to go back and watch the documentary. I said trade players who are aging for most part, not even close to living in their contract. Antoine Winfield Jr.'s highest paid player to his position hasn't been good in over 2 years. Brother, that isn't strategy. Yeah, if this was easy, everyone would do it, but it's not. That wasn't even close to my only strategy. Read through the chat, brother. King Cook, exactly, Peter. This 5-year stretch is the first time in a long time we aren't hiring and firing coaches. Exactly. What is the strategy then, King? For too old and expensive at wide receiver, you get hurt too much. Vita and Antoine Winfield Jr. might have trade value. They're not worth it right now. We're too old. Brother, we're young at every position except linebacker. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin are too old and expensive now. If they have trade value, do it. For who? For picks, good luck getting any trade value, like you said. They're old. And Godwin is playing great. And so is Mike. Vita's only reason our run defense is good. Microwave society at its finest. You know how many teams and fans would love to have 2 Super Bowl wins. Ask Bills fans how they feel. Or the Kitty Cats. Yeah, agree. They've been getting hurt every single year for large stretches, especially this year. They're both gone for very large stretches. They both cost a lot of money. One group, that much money. Kitty Cat fans. Doug says, so your answer to guys getting injured is to get new guys. Guess what? Everyone is getting injured. Ibuka got injured. Let's see. You can go and get a run stopper anywhere off the street. I don't know about that. Baker's injured. He plays throughout. You complain. Matt, even Nacho could stop the run. Then why the F would anyone get value for him? I was just pointing out all 22 film like the coaches should be doing. I never said get rid of Baker, did I? You don't know nothing about all 22. I believe they're keeping Bowles when the Glazers actually put out a statement. Fair enough. I love when Peter spits the facts about the old horrendous Bucs. They were a laughing stock of the NFL, and now we are talking about contenders every year for the past 6 years. This team has come so far since. Being a Bucs fan, embrace what you can do now. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, pretty much all Jets coaches have been big tune the last one to get 11-win season. Big tuna, yes. Chris Godwin won't have trade value. Yes, he will. The Patriots literally wanted him last year in free agency. Yeah, for what? A 4th. Matthew, Vita will trade value as a nose tackle, get 6 to 7 sacks every year. You're not going to get rid of him. Why would you get rid of him? A 4th would be worth it for Chris at this point in his career. We'd get the money he deserves. Bulls press conference gave me Jameis Winston vibes when he said, I'm balling, check the stats. Wayne, It's all about injuries. Matt, Antoine Winfield Jr. probably has some value. They'll probably just make him restructure a little bit, which is why I said the players. Okay, but who do you think we get? Help me understand. If we go a rookie, doesn't hit, then we are effed. We trade off that, then we're probably unbelievably worth unloading. Very big, expensive contracts that aren't worth it to us anymore. We need to do so much in free agency and the draft. Then we should fire Light because he didn't do it. Correct. We should fire Jason, but we're not. So that's why I'm doing all this, going off, keeping Jason and keeping Todd, as I will get out of here in just a moment as to read the rest of these comments. Over 3 hours. I hope you appreciate this. I agree with you, but trading guys away does not work. Never works unless you're in a rebuild, which we're not. The correct decision is see what John Harbaugh wants and give it to him. He would fix the defense in a year. We still have a winning record. We still win 11 or more games this year. I agree. But trading everyone is not the answer. Wearing a mini rebuild, the only thing we don't need to fix is the offense. Even the offense needs more depth. Again, you're not in a rebuild. We need a new coach, new linebackers, O-line help. The defense and special teams need to be upgraded no matter the cost this year. I'm tired of it. We're all tired of it. Our O-line is the biggest issue. Our offense, that's what I'm saying, dude. An O-line is expensive. Tackles are premier positions. We have to try and unload and upgrade. You're unloading everything at this point. We're not the only team to fall after the bye. Detroit, Colts, and Chiefs have done it. Stop stuffing on our team, for the problem has happened across the league. We need several hog mollies, at least 2 or 3 for depth. Push our current talent. Graham needs to be moved out of the center. He's a bust. He's not a bust. He's not a bust. You had 2 of your guards weren't there. So he had to play all year long with guys that are backups. Enough with the bust. Let's see. We need pass rusher more than anything. That's the 3rd most expensive position in football. If anybody on our team has trade value, what mama doesn't know won't hurt business as usual. We just need some guys. Nothing can be addressed in the draft or picked up in free agency. But then you need to be coached. But even with Jason and Todd, this team is close. We just need to fix the defense, special teams, get some more players on offense, especially hog mollies. Oh, I could be pissed, but I'll never give up on my Buccaneers. Never going to games since 84. We all know going back in the 90% of the time, we're going to lose. But we still sit there in the hot seats and get the 3rd-degree burns. Appreciate you, brother. I know they need to be coached. Jason isn't, but they're not going to fire him so far, what everybody else is saying. No, Jason, excuse me, Todd. Atlanta and Carolina are right there, especially Atlanta, because they have talent all over defense, offense. Carolina's most defense. Carolina needs a new quarterback, which by far most expensive premier position in football. Chris Cole, defense was lights out in 22, but the offense couldn't even score 18 points a game. We were almost every single game except for the Buffalo game. Quite a few times we had a chance to win, but no quarterback can do it all the time. I think he spent his comeback mojo the first half of the season. We're all in good hands with J-Mac and Ibuka for the future. It's unacceptable that Todd has 2 separate losing streaks. Okay, you've said this already. You keep on saying it. That shows me the locker room quit on him. Didn't mean easy schedule. I mean easy part of the schedule because the whole thing was kind of hard. James, Peter, what do you think overall about our 50th anniversary season with the Bucs? It was tough. Started out so well, and it was tough. Let's see. Any more comments here? I think I'm done with Matt. You're just kind of saying the same thing at this point. Worst part about the season is losing Gene Deckerhoff. Go Bucs. Fire those cannons.
Fire the cannons!
David says, I told you it's going to be hard to fill up the stadium these days with nothing but Bucs fans because too many Airbnbs are buy season tickets throughout the season. You can rent those houses and get Bucs tickets. Pay Buccaneer fans. Stop crying your tears. Let's move on here. Better seasons. Let's see. David says, get what you're saying, Peter. I guess my problem is a lot of Buccaneer fans' problem is that we have expectations in those losing seasons. We never had expectations like we had in the last 5 years. Okay, fair enough. I think that I'm going to move on here. Okay, I appreciate that. I don't know what that was. I hate Pirates. Do you know Jack Sparrow? No, I don't. Let's see. I don't believe Todd when he says he's going to change this game because he didn't say that at the beginning of the year. Me and you talked about this multiple times. We did. The problem with pass rush is really see rookies make an immediate impact. They got to trade for a disruptor. Boom, right there. They can make the whole team better. Michael says Todd Bowles always plays not to lose. That's why he needs to go. This is not how you win a Super Bowl in the modern NFL. This isn't football. This is American football. Excuse me. So much for Mike Evans being a lifetime Buck. He'll walk and play elsewhere rather than put up with another loser year with the Bulls. It's not going to happen. He's going to be a Buck. Sorry, I'll bet you on that. Bro, are you responding to messages from 5000 BC? No, I'm trying to respond to all the messages here. Let's see. Maybe it'll take a little while, but I'm sorry if I messed up. I was just making jokes to make you laugh. I didn't mean to cross the line. You're the man, bro. Love you. Thank you. Appreciate you. I know we were joking. Thank you, Peter. Love you, brother. Go Bucs. And let's go out to Sean. Much love, Peter. Great show as always. Like always, go Bucs.
Fire the cannon!
All right. Thanks a lot to all the commenters tonight, all the text messages, all the phone calls. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Again, the big news of the day, Todd Bowles is being retained, according to the Tampa Bay Times' Rick Stroud. Text message from Todd Bowles. Looks like there's going to be major changes to the staff. Thanks a lot to Harry, the great professional handicapper extraordinaire. We'll be back on Saturday morning, afternoon. We don't know what the time is, but we'll be back on Saturday, preview those playoff games, and, of course, give you an update on your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Once again, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Do 3 things. We'll keep it down. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. As we always say on this show to end it off, go Bucs.